Hi, welcome to the Wired
and Rewired podcast all about the hit HBO series, The Wire.
I'm Chris, and this is my 1,000th time watching The Wire.
And this is Ellie. It's my first.
If you're new to the Force or a longtime veteran, we think you'll find something here to enjoy. Today we are covering Season 4, Episode 4, Refugees. And as always, we begin by popping a recap. With Freeman and Greggs moved to Homicide, Herc and Dozerman join Merimo in the stripped-down Major Crimes Unit. Cuddy gets a custodial job, quote-unquote, at Tillman High School, mopping up truants, but can't make headway in his efforts to mentor Michael. Bubbles gives Sherrod an ultimatum in an effort to get him back in school as a socially promoted 8th grader. Burrell finds a way to sabotage the state witness murder investigation before the election, a plan that directly impacts Greggs. Prez's struggles in class continue. Bodhi finds himself working for a new company, quote-unquote, again with the quote-unquote. Colvin pitches his pilot program to the school. Carcetti meets with a constituency he knows won't support him. Randy faces a dilemma after being busted for his candy scam. Marlo is schooled in poker. Royce antes up in a game he can't lose. And Proposition Joe plays Marlo in a high-stakes heist. The episode was written by Dennis Lehane. This is his second episode, and you might know him from Mystic River and Gone Baby Gone fame. And it was directed by Jim McKay, and it premiered on October 1st, 2006.
Okay.
All right, well, Ellie, kick us off by busting out that epigraph.
No one wins. One side just loses more slowly, said by Prez Bluesky.
Yeah. Well, in case anybody was wondering, Ellie wins typically the podcast episodes.
So often.
But I lose more slowly is really what happens. So. Okay, well, any initial thoughts about this one before we get to your predictions?
No initial thoughts. I do have some questions.
Okay,
later.
you'll get to them later?
Yep.
Okay, well, I will share one thing. This is kind of like how I mentioned in the dog episode of season 3. I actually was relieved this happened earlier. The security guard storyline happened earlier because I knew it was out there. It makes me so sad. And so I guess I'm just happy. Relieved, I guess, is the better word, too, that we're now past it. So now, because you just know this thing is sitting out there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's just a brutal scene. There's a little bit of notes about that. And so anyway, that was the only other thing that I wanted to mention about that. But then I was also noting that, I really feel like the epigraph this time really plays its way through the series. So, or this episode, excuse me. All right. Well, before we get into the episode itself, let us take a look at your predictions. Okay, so for your predictions, Watkins will go into Carcetti's camp, disenchanted with Royce. So definitely saw that.
Yes.
So that was now not exactly in Carcetti's camp per se, but you did see that he was disenchanted with Royce. So that thread is continued.
Okay.
Royce will dig himself deeper somehow. What do you think about this?
A little bit. I mean, he's starting to piss people off.
He is definitely.
Yeah. I would say.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
It's not as to the degree that I kind of expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's flailing now, like using with the African colors and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Marlo will find out that Omar stole from Andre, so yes, we got that right. Omar, and you wrote down Omar and Marlo action. Now, not exactly in the way that you thought, but of course that did happen.
Yeah,
so
there
kind
was
of
a confrontation of sorts.
So that's cool. Joe will parlay with Marlo, and he will be unsuccessful. So you're right about that.
Okay.
And so good job there. Kima and Freeman will go to Homicide. You got that.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis will come back and got that right. We'll have a boxing match. So no, not exactly. They talk about it because they said Spider was supposed to fight.
Yeah.
But nothing happened.
They go to one.
They go to one. Colvin and Prenti will set up shop at the school. So yes, did that. The kids won't want to talk. So we have not seen evidence of that yet.
Yeah.
Will Bunk find Lex? No more movement. So what do you think about this one?
I mean, no more movement. I mean, they know that he's possibly dead. So, yeah, I guess that's the movement.
That's what I was saying. Not any closer to finding him,
right?
But more like what do they say? Abated by the death of a suspect is kind of when a case goes to black. So.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Bodhi will resist Marlo for one more episode, so no on that. Yeah, he caved. The Prez shitstorm will continue. I'm giving you credit for this one. Maybe he will have a new approach or a crisis of conscience. No, you said he will have a new approach, which I think he kind of did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the turnaround that I was hoping for.
No, not exactly.
No.
So I'll tell you that, I guess we'll get into that. My new sense of this, I think having watched it now with kids in high school, now like or middle school anyway, that it is struck me differently this time. So, but anyway, we'll get to that. There's a little bit of information from Karen Thorsten and Jim Trufaust, who plays Prez, and Kate Sanford as an audio commentary. But other than that, that's pretty much all we've got in terms of references. So let us begin.
Okay. Well, let's see here. I'm going to start today with Kima's initiation. We'll go to Untouchable Marlo. Then we'll talk about the unit killer, Sherrod's social promotion, Truants at Tillman, and we'll finish off with some politics as Royce widens the rift.
Okay. Sounds good.
Here we go. Let's go to Homicide and talk about Kima's initiation to this new organization. So Kima shows up on a Sunday. It's early for her post with the Homicide unit. Landsman is there to meet with her. She says, well, I thought I would help out over the weekend shift, and also she wanted to avoid Marimo, the new guy in charge of major crimes. And Landsman, he gets it. He says Marimo does not cast off talent lightly. He heaves it away with great force. Landsman has some great lines.
Sure.
And that is one. He tells her that Freeman actually arrived a day earlier. She says he's fast like that. And Landsman shows Greg's around. They go over to the interview room where we see Bunk is with a witness who has identified Lex as the killer of fruit. So this is the first time we've had that. She says something about pink stuff coming out the side of his head. Like, somebody get her a counselor or something. Landsman continues with a tour of the department. I love he does the sign of the cross over the area where the coffee is. And then they go over to the boxes, and he gives Greg's telephone message that's already in her box. Okay. Freeman's there, welcomes Greg's to the unit, puts his hand on her shoulder. You're going to get along just fine. What's the message, though? The message is something from a Mr. Lion and methane probe protocols that she needs to get back to. They say, oh, you better go, call this and figure this out before you catch a case. And she does. She makes the call. Turns out to be the Baltimore City Zoo. Mr. Lion, methane probes. It is a joke. She's being hazed a bit.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yep.
Our H-files by year. A witness dump. A cut necktie mausoleum. The coffee. And the mailboxes. Arranged by shift and squad. Last there. I believe you two refugees know each other well.
Still getting your head around it?
A bit, yeah.
Well, you'll do fine. Just fine.
As tender as this moment may be, Detective, you've got mail.
You got lying on your ass already?
Another switch up on the methane probes.
I'd call that number. Get on top of that shit before you catch a case.
Chair or no chair.
Yes, hello? I need to speak with Mr. Lion about the protocols.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Lion, please.
You sound a little old for this, hon.
Excuse me? Who is this? This is Detective Greggs with the...
Baltimore City Zoo.
Fine. And this is Detective Greggs.
And you're calling for a Mr. Lion.
I'm sorry. I misdialed.
Methane probe.
Yeah, this whole scene is pretty great. I loved how you're heaves it away with great force. That was a great call out. I also liked Landsman. Landsman has kind of a funny turn here because he says, "Put that down. You live here now," which I like. I don't know. It feels very welcoming in that way. And then I also just appreciated Kima starts on the phone and the camera's close up on her.
Yep.
And then they just very slowly pull away, and the police officers kind of come in. The other cops from the homicide unit come in and start like overhearing and stuff like that.
They're loving it.
So that was pretty great. One other, I should mention that my stepdad, shortly after he joined our family, did that to us with like every April Fool's day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it took me like 3 years to finally figure it out because like a year would go by and I'd forget, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, this person called." I think I was a senior in high school. Like he'd been doing it to me like all through high school, and I was a senior when I finally figured it out.
That's
and
awesome.
he almost got me when I went away to college. He's like, "Hey, we got this call for you from school, and hey, can you call this person back?" And so that was great. Great way to it. And as far as hazing goes, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
And then just one note from the commentary was that Crutchfield apparently started as just a reference from like the audio, they call it audio dub, or audio dubbed recording basically. So it's like when you add environmental ambient sounds,
noise.
ambient. Thank you. Yeah, and so like you're in Homicide, you hear like somebody say to somebody else, line 3 or whatever, and so apparently started that way, and then he became a full on character, which is just kind of funny. And then the Jim Trufoss said that he thought that the whole Delaney Williams, the Landsman dialogue basically came from David Simon's book Homicide.
Oh, okay.
And just a lot of the references in there. So that's where it's, if you ever need one more reminder, that's another reminder to read that book. It's really terrific. So anyway, that's all I got.
Okay. All right. Well, we have Forrester meeting with Burrell and Rawls, and I guess Forrester's looking like not good in this episode.
Well, you are correct in saying that because the actor Richard DeAngelis actually died shortly after they recorded the episode.
Way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like super sick and not doing well in that particular episode. Like he looked like he lost a ton of weight. Like he was swimming in his suit.
Yeah, absolutely. And so actually Jim Trufoss mentioned that it really was a testament to him because he gave it everything he had, even though it's not physically demanding these scenes. He really like worked hard. Yeah. And when he was in really bad shape physically.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah. And so everybody thought very highly of him. Thought he was a very interesting and kind person.
Okay.
So,
God, I wondered.
So, interesting observation, I would say.
Oh,
Good job.
yeah. No, I see it now. So Forrester is meeting with Burrell and Rawls. They're discussing this case of the recent murder of the state's witness. And as we recall, this has been really bad for Mayor Royce. He's asked Burrell to slow the investigation so that there's, no proof that the motive was that the victim was going to be testifying soon. So Forrester starts talking about the plan for the case, but then Burrell orders Forrester to take the case from Ed Norris, who's the veteran detective, and instead assign it to the rookie, Greggs.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, Norris is really good. He's fine. And, let's get fresh eyes on this. And, Forster's already looking like just drained and tired on his own. It just adds to it. He keeps on arguing to try to keep Norris as the investigator. And in the background, you see Rawls, who won't even look him in the eye from his backseat position. He knows what Burrell's motives are, though, and so he says, what if I can guarantee that no other details of this investigation get to the press before the vote? And while he says that, then you see Rawls shaking his head, don't go there. Yeah. And Burrell tells him he resents the implication, and Forrester ends up apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
Shall I continue?
Yeah, no, it's a tough scene. This is the one time I feel like Rawls is looking out for somebody other than himself.
True. He knows what's right and what's wrong in this situation. Yeah. He's not willing. He's not willing to do anything about it, but at least you could see he was bothered by it.
Yeah, ultimately it feels like there's really not, since it's coming from the mayor's office, there's really nothing they can do. Yeah. Now, I will, of course, the interesting part of it is that when you think back to what Royce actually said, Burrell interprets it as here's how you slow it down. Right. But, was that what Royce wanted? Yeah. But because Burrell interpreted it that way, that is what it is. And you're not going to fight it. You can't, you literally can't fight City Hall. So that's what they say.
That's what they say. Mm-hmm. Well, after the meeting, we've got Forrester and Rawls in the elevator, and Rawls says, the decision to reassign the case is not right, but it's not your decision. It's not my decision. And he's the one that has to go to City Hall and deal with Royce. And you see there in it, Forrester, he's leaning sitting at the back of the elevator. And he looks like he's like using it for all the support it's
Is that
got,
right?
actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
like
think
now,
I noticed that.
now that I've like, had my mom go through cancer treatment, like I just like see the drained and weakness like so much more easily. But yeah. So I did not know that about him. So is he in another episode after this, or this was the last?
I think this is his last one.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Pour one out. All right. Okay. Let me see here.
Oh, I just want to
Okay.
mention, like when Rawls leaves the elevator, I felt like in the elevator itself, he was trying to be somewhat sympathetic to
Yeah. He was.
to Forrester and not trying to like revel in somebody else's misery as he seems like
As
he does
he
so
often
often.
does, yep.
But then he walks out and he kind of smiles, which is
He does.
I thought was kind of a strange.
I know. He does kind of like straighten up and smile.
Yeah.
Which I agree. That
Maybe
was
just
weird.
maybe just like, oh, thank God I handed this off to somebody and
Yeah.
I'm relieved or whatever. but
Yeah.
I
Or
don't
like,
know.
well, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's see here. Forrester breaks the news to Landsman about the order and tells him that he's reassigning the Braddock case to Greg's. Landsman is like, what are you talking about? He's, are we really doing this? He's, Norris's plate is fine. He can handle it. And Forrester says, no, Norris's plate is shit.
Yeah.
And, Landsman sees through it too. He's like, we're giving this case to a rookie so we can slow the progress on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so, despite the fact that they are both concerned about what this means, they just have to do it.
Yeah.
Landsman's not happy about it, but he takes orders.
Mm-hmm.
Chain of command.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's interesting because Forrester just basically it all just rolls downhill, and
It does.
Forrester, doesn't try to justify it any more
Nope.
than he has to. And,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
yeah, and then Landsman basically just interprets it, and again, and he doesn't even confirm it. Forrester, he just like brought a case to Greg's.
I
And that's
know,
it.
I know. I did love that. Like, Norris's cases or Norris's, plate is shit.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I mean, there you go.
Yep.
All right. Bunk and Freeman meet up with McNulty. They are there they need some backup for something. We'll talk about what in a second. So Freeman is disappointed that McNulty's not, working homicide, that he's not being a detective, but McNulty's happy doing what he's doing. They say the worm has turned, which I've never heard that saying before.
Oh no,
No, I've not. The worm has turned.
I've heard it. I don't really know what it means. Like what is it? Yeah, what does that mean? But
Worms don't turn. That isn't a common occurrence. Anyhow, they just...
how could you even tell? It's really
Exactly. They're
it's not like there's an up. There's not like an upend.
Oh,
Anyway.
Okay, so they talk about Merimo closing the tap at the Major Crimes Unit. We'll talk about that more a little bit later. And Bunk does say that Merimo has a reputation for being the departmental unit killer. Walker shows up, another officer, and, they're asking what they need to do backup for. This is where we find out that they are there to serve a warrant at Lex's home. And we know Bunk has talked to Lex's mom before, that amazing scene last time. Bunk asks McNulty to take the front door with him, like old times. McNulty says, I'll take the back. And Freeman tells him, if you take the back, you gotta buy. And says, well, you're going to go to the B&O Tavern tonight, 9 p.m. McNulty said, I would only leave after 1 anyway.
Pumping a radio car like a young sprite. I'm a little bit proud to know you, Officer McNulty.
Just a little bit?
Well, it ain't like there aren't better things you could be doing.
Like what?
See, I told you, Lester. The worm has turned for my boy.
So I heard they torpedoed your wiretap.
Yeah, they sent us a new lieutenant, Marimo from E&T.
The unit killer. Lester and Kima already bailed to Homicide, and now Sitton is looking to jump at the first good opening.
So Major Crimes is dead, huh?
Yeah, Lester killed it good.
I went looking for the money.
Guys like you never learn.
Guys like me.
Yeah, 13 years.
4 months.
4 months. You guys call for backup or what?
Yeah. We got arrest papers on a murder for one Curtis Anderson, a.k.a. Lex. He's been on the wing for a couple of weeks, so I don't expect him at his mama's, but you never know.
What's the address?
643 Harlem. How about you taking the door with me for old time's sake, Jimmy?
I'll take the back, gents.
Oh.
Back? Damn, Junior, the worm has turned for you. You know what they say about the man who volunteers to take the back? He buys. B&O Tavern. Tonight at 9, son.
I throw myself out after one.
Shit.
You don't believe me? Ask Bunk.
Dude.
So they go in to serve the warrant. When they go in, oh, sorry, let me just say too, they find out that he's not there. They wave McNulty off again with the, hey, 9 o'clock, B&O Tavern. He does that gesture that's the wiggle of his hand, like, maybe. Anyhow, so they're inside and they realize that Lex's mother is grieving because she has a little shrine set up on the mantle for her son. And Freeman asks straight up, is your son alive? And Bunk kind of comes, she's quiet. Bunk comes in with some pressure. He says, if he isn't alive, we don't have to come here anymore. If I'm under the impression that he is still alive, we come in here anytime, no warning. They're so not rude, but they're just so abrupt with her. I hated that because she still has this, face of fear, and she just says, I don't know where my son is.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
He's not here. I told you.
Is he coming home again?
Ma'am, is your son alive?
Because if he's not, we can end this right now. Otherwise, we got a witness. Gives us a murder warrant. And that warrant says that we can come through your door as many times as necessary.
I don't know where my son is.
She doesn't. She fears he's dead, is my guess, right? Do you think somebody maybe told her he's dead?
We will find out.
Okay.
But of course, like we learn later from Bunk and Freeman in their observation, that
he's got to be.
They're asking, but it's really they already know.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like he's just like, there's no way that she puts that shrine
Right.
up to him. Yeah.
Right. And Bunk says too, like that shrine was not there before I would have seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so if she knows and how she would come to find out, we do not know that answer.
Okay.
So, and again, like this actress, she's just. Oh my God!
I know.
Like, just
feel everything in her
incredible. Like,
her voice and her eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly. Like, I don't know where my son is. Like, might be true, might not. But there's just she's really, it's almost like she's got this capability of saying, like, denying it, but barely able to hide her emotions through it, and just she just does an incredible job. Really,
I know.
So, yeah.
Okay, well...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And just like when when Freeman takes his hat off and asks, ma'am, is your son alive?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like he's just like I feel like he's doing it kind of respectfully.
Yes.
Like, there's just like that
There's
little
still
move.
something gentlemanly.
Yeah,
about
exactly.
It.
So I just appreciate that. So
yeah,
just that whole scene is really just terrific. So
yeah, it is. It's great. This next scene is also awesome. Bunk and Freeman are at the B&O Tavern.
Oh my God, yes.
They are drinking without McNulty. And, Freeman wants to talk about the case. Bunk wants to chase women. Not just women, but pussy eye.
Pussy.
Pussy. Two eyes. So, Freeman keeps talking about the case. He's thinking about the disappearance of Lex after shooting a Stanfield drug dealer. And he's kind of tying this to the lack of violence that there is, despite just doesn't make sense. We've said this before. Marlo is claiming more territory and seeming to do it without any bodies. Freeman thinks maybe Stanfield's hiding corpses someplace, and he's going through these things. This whole time that he's talking about this, though, Bunk is talking about women and wanting to chase women. But Freeman says maybe it's in sewers, maybe there's a rogue funeral home. And again, Bunk is just so unhappy that this is his drinking buddy, and at the end he's calling for Jimmy. Calling for Jimmy. Wishing he had his old drinking buddy back.
I was beginning to think you lost it, son. That living room shrine of hers would have shamed Elvis and Tupac both. Her son's deader than both of them. She's just too scared to say so.
That shit wasn't there the first time I talked to her. I just seen it.
Uh-huh. You being a detective and all.
Hey, look. She got a friend.
She too young for you, boy.
Young.
Yeah, they get younger, William. Skinnier too. We don't.
Younger and skinnier. Where's Jimmy?
That's just the nature of things. Age is age, fat is fat, and nature is nature.
Pitiful.
They pity less. Nature don't care. Nature just is. Now, my boy Marlo, I thought he was skewing, man.
Screwing what?
The boy's a young lion.
Hello, is Mr. Lion home?
And a lion has to have his kill.
Bet they probed for Mr. Lion.
So then where are my bodies? Here I am over here on the one hand without a body in 6 months, and here you are looking for a suspect who's most likely dead, and most likely for dropping one of Marlo's. And again, if he's dead, where's that body?
You know what the plural of pussy is? Puss-eye. Jimmy told me that.
Where's he putting the bodies, Bunk, huh? In the sewers? Road funeral home, maybe?
Yeah, they teach that fancy-ass Latin at them Catholic schools.
You remember
They
that
do.
Eddie Crane case? Where it was they put him in an acid vat down near Curtis Bay. On Beacon
They're
Park.
coming up on us now.
Now, for a West Side boy like Marlo Stanfield, that would be the traditional dumping ground.
Hey, girl.
Right?
Hey, girl.
Right?
What? Man. Jimmy! Jimmy! Trying to get some of that pussy.
My God, sorry. As you're reciting, I'm just remembering, like, the way that they layer the dialogue together.
It's so funny. I mean, it's just Bug like, oh, they're coming over here.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, maybe it could be in the sewers. That's where they did it. It's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, she got a friend. Oh my God, it's so good.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, and just
Bug is such a great drunk.
right. Well, and right. There's that too.
So good.
Yeah. So first of all, got to mention that in the subreddit, the the plural pussy is one of the more referenced, like, what's your favorite line or what's your funniest line. So there, you got that going for you. But again, like, just so they the way that they layered in the kind of, God damn, my words are failing me today. What's the when you're explaining something? Not
exposition.
And that's what it is. Thank you.
Okay.
The exposition of Freeman, like, kind of going down this problem path. And, if the two of them were talking together, it would have been perfectly compelling.
Sure.
But the fact that you just have Bunk focus entirely on these two women, and I just love the hey girl as they walk by, but it just makes the whole conversation that much better, I feel like, because Lester doesn't need Bunk to bounce the ideas off of him. He's
Right.
just,
He's
but
just verbalizing,
and so of course,
verbally
like,
processing.
yeah, and so Bunk could have just sat there silently listening,
Right.
or whatever, but instead they just put in this absolutely brilliant, essentially monologue.
Yeah.
And it's just, my God, that scene is just so good. Where's he putting the bodies, Bunk?
Yeah.
Where's Jimmy? Yeah, just, oh my God, so good. So sorry, I just love that scene so much. It just made me laugh so much again. This whole time.
It is hilarious.
yeah.
I loved it.
Yep.
Okay, well, Bunk arrives at a scene with Crutchfield and Greg's there. This is the first homicide case that Greg's has been to.
Mm-hmm.
Bunk tells her as they're walking up that she needs soft eyes, not hard eyes. She wants to see everything at the scene. She needs to have soft eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've heard soft eyes before. That was we've
that was
heard
an
that
episode
with
in-
Prez.
yeah, mhm.
Bunk goes through this whole thing as he is looking at the body. He is making one think that he has, the abilities of a medical examiner or a forensic scientist. He's talking about blood spatter and where's the Q-tips and all of this stuff. And then he tells Kima to take a look, and she kneels down. She says, oh, there's something in his hand. And they give her tweezers, and she pulls up a little rolled up piece of paper, opens it up, and typed on it is, Tater killed me. It is another initiation joke.
Yeah, this one feels a little darker.
This is
right?
really dark. I cannot believe they like put that in the hand of a murder victim.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
I guess I don't know if he's murdered. They don't.
Well, I
know
mean,
for sure.
you would assume.
presumably.
Well,
They got
you know,
homicide there.
Yeah, I mean, when they do the measuring tape, I assume that's the same kind of thing that they did with that season 1, episode 4.
Yeah, McNulty. And
Yeah. So I assumed anyway, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty tasteless.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, but it was a pretty funny reveal. And then the phone number in the other hand.
Yeah, the phone number's in the other hand.
Yeah.
She's not happy with it. She's getting annoyed. They return to the office. Bunk only has to mention Tater, and you hear laughs from throughout the office. And then in the box, there is a note to call him Mr. Sweet. And she's like, oh, well, now I'm going to have to end up calling the Gay Lesbian Alliance. She's had it. She's tired of it now. She goes back to her desk, and before she can even really get there, Landsman comes up and assigns her the Braddock case. And Bunk, you have this moment where you see Bunk, and he kind of has a face that looks like, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
And she can't even believe it, but it's real.
Yep.
So there you go. That's Kima's initiation.
Yeah. Tough when it goes from joking around.
Yeah.
And then now she's got this murder case.
Right.
And,
Exactly.
And after Landsman himself said that it would be a few months before she got assigned one. Yeah. So as a primary, so that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I also just loved the way that Delaney Williams played the role, because he comes in and somehow his gut is even bigger, and I feel like it's like he's using it as like a battering ram, where he's hiding behind it,
her,
and he's just got this grim look on her face, on his face, and so of course she has to take it. So anyway, but now we have a whole new problem for Kima to deal with, so that's kind of interesting. So, but yeah, I guess that's it.
Yep, that's it for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on to Untouchable Marlo. So Marlo is playing poker with seems like a group of kind of old timers. Definitely no one as young as him. I don't know if these are other business owners or who these people are. Okay,
nope, they don't really explain.
Okay, he is sucking on a lollipop while he does this. That becomes important later.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who he's playing against, or I guess the guy who still has a hand in the current round, is talking about his preference for a town car, and that if Marlo wins, he should pick one out. So basically he's goading Marlo to going all in.
Mm-hmm.
And so he does. But the guy that he's playing against wins with clubs, and Marlo loses everything. He walks out, tosses his lollipop stick aside, and heads to a nearby grocery store. All right, shall I keep going?
No, if you don't mind, I'm just
Nope,
going to
go
say
ahead.
a couple things. So the first thing that they mentioned in the audio commentary was that, and I had to go back and watch it, is that they did a lot of footage for the poker scene, did a lot of close-ups to start, and then they finished with the wide shot to see where everybody's sitting. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty interesting. And then, of course, like the lollipop, being a symbol of kind of Marlo's childishness still, and how he still needs to learn things. I thought it was clear right away that, this is where somebody loses more slowly. Right, you're not really like one guy ends up winning, but it's really like you're going to continue to lose ultimately to each other, kind of thing. And so, just thought that was like the first time where I just realized or made that connection. Then I guess I'll just mention here, because even there's another poker scene, I'm going to mention a little bit. I'm going to go on a little diatribe, because for whatever reason, like poker on TV and movies, I feel like has been. I feel like it's misrepresented only because it's hard to make it dramatic if you on the scenes or on the hands where they are really dramatic. First, before I forget though, this is like $100,000. They're coming to the game with $100,000, and these using plastic chips. That is some bullshit.
Yeah, that's
like,
a good point.
Like, my God, like spring for the good
I
chips.
know.
Like, it's not like they're that expensive.
Right.
So that part, like that clank, the clatter
Good
of
point. Good
that just
point.
kind of bugged me. Also, the betting for the guys, again, this is for dramatic purposes, but that guy, the guy who raised Marlo, you got to put all your chips in at once. You can't do what's called a string bet, because every time you put your chips in, it gets a reaction from the other person. And so by doing it one at a time, you can gauge his reaction each time while you're making your decisions. So you got to declare your bet. If nothing else, say I'm, raise you 1,000 or whatever,
Okay.
and then you can do it at a time, but you've already made your intention. Okay. But if you just do it one at a time, then the other person's kind of at a disadvantage, because you're getting information from them. Meanwhile, if anybody that watched Rounders knows, when you put your chips in, you should put it in a stack, not the way that Marlo does it, which is
pushing it
which
over.
you do just
Yeah.
throw them all in because it's called splashing the pot, which just makes cleanup more annoying. So
Okay.
it's just a
Etiquette,
courtesy
etiquette,
thing.
gotcha.
Yeah, right. Now Marlo not necessarily caring that. And then the last thing I'll just say about the betting. So the thing about a good poker player is all the hands where I figure out what the person's hand is when you yourself don't have a good hand. So it's really like the strategy of, okay, I've got a decent hand, potential for a decent hand.
Okay.
Right. So how's this person betting? What do I think they have based on the cards on the board? And then, and then you're basically playing against them by betting, thinking that they have a weak hand. Like they're looking for this, or I have a better hand than they do. I think they probably have, I've got, a pair of queens and I see other cards on the board. I think they probably have like this and that.
Okay.
And there's a whole thought process that you have to go through. And that's where the drama is when you're playing actual poker, not just, I've got a flush and therefore I have the best hand. Also, and then finally, I'll just finish by saying that, that's the challenge of including poker in any story.
Right.
It's always got to come down to who's got the better hand.
Right.
So when we learn later, and we'll talk, but I'll just skip ahead a little bit, when it's flush or when it's full house versus flush, I think, or whatever, like that really doesn't happen very often.
No.
Right.
The
It's
odds
like,
are very much
yeah.
against that,
So but of course, like for drama purposes, it works great. So,
right. And these are hands that people have heard of if they don't
Yeah,
know
exactly.
anything about poker, right?
yeah.
So, yeah.
And then the last bit, which I just think is funny, is like the guy has, I guess they must have been playing like 7-card stud, because I was like, what? When do you have 3 cards to flip over? And it's 7-card stud was probably what they were playing. So but at first I was like, I couldn't think of anything like that. So that's it.
Okay.
So, anyway, and that's my little diatribe about poker. Anyway,
All right. Somebody who
Yes.
really enjoys poker is like, yes, Chris, you're right.
hopefully, for our 8 listeners or whatever, we love you, and hopefully one of you enjoyed that.
All right. Well, let's see here. Marlo's at the grocery store. He's calling Partlow to pick him up. Marlo goes into the store and the security guard sees him. And by the security guard's reaction, you think maybe he recognizes who Marlo is. Marlo grabs water bottle. He goes up to buy it. And then he just right there at the till steals the 2 lollipops and puts them in his pocket. He's looking at the security guard, looking at him do this. So the guard follows him outside. He says, why'd you have to do that? You knew that I was there. He says, I don't do this because I think I'm a big man or whatever. I have a family to support. And I know what you're about. And I'm not going to step to you. I'm not trying to disrespect you. But like, why did you have to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And Marlo could give a shit
Right.
less.
Yep.
He just says, you being there, I don't, like, why do I give a shit? He tells him, you want it to be one way, but it's the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Partlow pulls up.
Yep.
Yeah.
The fuck? You think I dream of coming to work up in this shit on a Sunday morning? Tell all my friends what a good job I got? I'm working to support a family, man. Pretend I ain't talking to you. Pretend like I ain't even on this earth. I know what you are. Now, I ain't stepping two, but I am a man. And you just clip that shit and act like you don't even know I'm there.
I don't.
I'm here. Look, I told you I wasn't stepping two. I ain't disrespecting you, son.
You want it to be one way.
What?
You want it to be one way.
Man, I don't
You want
know
it
what
to
you...
be one
Man,
way.
stop! Stop saying that.
But it's the other way.
Yep. It's a tough scene because
Yeah.
So Marlo is feeling powerless, right?
Right.
In that he
you're
just
right.
lost.
Exactly.
So what's he going to do? He takes it
Yeah.
out on a guy who has even less power.
Exactly.
And so then the guy, which I know interesting ways, kind of that same parallel with Mayor Royce going to Burrell
sure.
or down to Forrester and down to Greg's and so on and so forth. So there's that. And then, knowing what happens with the security guard later.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, when he said you want it to be one way, but it's the other way, what's your interpretation of what that means?
I think what he means is like that the guard thinks that there's some part of him that cares or that's affected by him coming out, and that he's saying, there's no part of me that cares. I don't know. It was hard for me to interpret that. I knew you would ask me that, but I was not sure.
No, I mean,
that's the best I can do. What do you think?
No, I think that's as correct as anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly I have a darker, I think, interpretation.
Okay.
Which is when the guard stands in front of Marlo, and Marlo then steps up to him, then Marlo saying you want it to be one way is saying, you think by saying, I'm not stepping to, I'm not disrespecting you, you are like that
You're
saves
making
you.
yourself,
that saves
exactly.
you. And
it doesn't.
when in fact it doesn't.
God,
and so when he says, but it's the other way, it's just so dark.
It's so dark.
And so that's my interpretation. But I think it goes a lot of, I think there are multiple layers to it for sure. Is that, you're probably right. Like, I want to talk logic to this guy.
Right.
And he's like, I don't hear what you have to say.
Exactly.
I don't care. So
I could give a shit less.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
So, so it's rough.
It's
and,
rough.
Especially, knowing the security guard like lays out a little bit of his background, you're like, he's got a family and he's doing this job and whatever. I don't know. It's tough.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Marlo is at the rim shop and old-faced Andre is there. Andre tells about Omar's recent robbery of his store. And Andre is trying to convince Marlo that he should relieve him of his debt because Omar is like a terrorist. If a terrorist attacks a bank or whatever, they don't hold that against them, the insurance and whatever. And the argument is not very effective. Let's just say that. Mm-hmm. Marlo sees that Andre is wearing a ring. He says, it's got sentimental value. And how much is it worth? I haven't really checked. I could check it for you.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's okay. It's okay. And, it's very clear he wants him to hand it over. And so he does. He hands over the ring. They offer to help him with it. Put a little spit on it. I don't want to spit on it. And Marlo says, Omar ain't no terrorist, and tells him that he needs to pay what he owes him and not try that sort of stuff again. And after Andre leaves, Marlo tells Chris that he needs more money. He's learning the ways of these guys he's playing against, and he thinks he can win against them soon. How much money? He needs $100,500.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Marlo, he thinks that he's going to be able to win soon. And if he doesn't, then he'll just send Partlow over there to deal with it. If I can't win, I'll just have you go kill them.
Yeah.
Partlow's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Guard up, faggot. I need to hunt him down, because there ain't no protection against that shit. Can't plan against that nigga. It's like, you know what he's like.
What he like?
He like one of them terrorist motherfuckers. Just blowing up shit just to. Don't care who get hurt, what kind of sense it makes.
You got a point.
And the government, right? They have one of them terrorist attacks. They cut Delta, whoever, some slack. The insurance companies, the banks, the whole NASDAQ and shit get some time to pay back what they owe, because the government know ain't nothing they can do. Yeah, I know you see it. You see the big picture. Probably with niggas today, they always see the narrow view.
It's nice.
What? Oh, you like that? I had it for a long time now. It got some sentimental values. Just the thing.
What's the real value?
Huh?
Real value. I ain't much for sentiment.
Oh, it's been a while since I checked. I mean, the fluctuation in the global economy and all.
I'll find out for you.
You don't have to.
I'll find out for you.
Fingers swelled over the years.
Need some help? Yeah, man. You need help?
Nah, I got it.
Maybe use some spit. I don't want the man spit.
Nah, I got it now.
Omar ain't no terrorist. You just another nigga with a gun. And you ain't no Delta Airlines neither. You just a nigga got your shit took. So bring me what you owe and talk that global economy mess somewhere else. Feel me?
Yeah.
I got another game.
What you done already?
Learning their ways requires some patience.
Some money, too. How much you need this time out?
100 and a half for the do.
100 and a half.
I'll take that chicken nose full one day soon. Take Super Stick too. Take them all. Else, maybe I'll get bored, send you to take them.
Yeah, so this is where it is really just like, I just took it as like his sociopathy is just like on full display here.
It sure is.
And, sorry, before we get too far away from it, I did want to mention that, speaking of that, just the take them all kind of thing. So David Simon talked to Alan Sepinwall about that. He said, the security guard spoke to Marlo's utter indifference to the outer world's perception. I'm living in this world, and this man tried to assert himself with me. I didn't see it as being utterly evil. He wasn't enjoying the evil of it. It wasn't Snidely Whiplash. Snidely Whiplash, I had to look that up, is a stereotypical villain known for his black top hat, cape, and handlebar mustache from the Rocky and Bullwinkle show and Dudley Do-Right, I guess, like that side, or the whatever, the show within the show, and is famous for tying damsels in distress to railroad tracks. So whatever. So anyway, it's just like some stereotypical, just evil for evil's sake, and so that's not what the intent was. And so anyway, so he continues, this is the place where I occupy in the world, and what my world demands. This guy talked back, and that was foolish, is sort of the that component of it. But then he talks about just like, take them all, right? And he's just saying like, if I get bored, I'm just going to have you kill him.
Yep.
And it's just, I mean, it just goes to show like how kind of scary this guy is.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to like, even though these guys are playing a game in theory fair and square, it makes no difference to Marlo.
Doesn't matter if you're dealing with a sociopath.
Yeah. And then Jim Trufoss mentioned that he loved Gabanga's portrayal of Partlow. He thought it was amazing. He said you're never sure if Partlow is going to give you a massage or blow your head off. And that's in that way, it's the same kind of thing. It's like you hear, and this is the one time when I feel like you hear Partlow not exactly question Marlo, but he definitely like, are you sure this is what you want? So anyway, he immediately backs off of that. So anyway.
Right.
Okay. That's all I got.
Well, let's see here. As you've mentioned, Marlo has apparently assigned Chris and Snoop to kill the security guard because they are staking him out. They know when he works, when he doesn't. Snoop's like, what did he do? Well, he talked back. That is enough.
Brutal.
Next up, they head over to Hilltop to visit Bodhi and get his decision about the ultimatum Marlo left with him to either take their package or to get the heck out of there. And after making first he's got a side spit, and he side spits a lot in this little section. I mean, he's already quite a spitter, but this was a lot more spit than I'm comfortable seeing, frankly. Okay, I don't like it. He makes a little joke about, is it little Kevin? Yeah, little Kevin shooting them both in the heads, but then little Kevin, even as they come out, little Kevin's just like, see ya. So he makes a little joke. We see Donut actually ride by in a car that is not his,
right?
Which is so weird. They both see that, but then Bodhi agrees to Marlo's terms, and Chris asks about Michael, where he is. Bodhi says he's not a regular. He doesn't work here on a regular basis. He's in school. He wants to know why they're interested, and Partlow tells Bodhi, well, that's not that ain't in your repertoire no more.
Yep.
So pretty much after Bodhi has agreed to this, Snoop makes some kind of a weird sound, and I know, something like that. Yeah. Monk arrives, and Chris and Snoop leave. A little boy comes out of the car, gives a backpack to little Kevin, which I guess has the drugs in it, and they tell him that it's a 60-40 split, and don't mess around with Marlo's money. There you go.
Yep.
We don't care. See you.
Decision time, son.
What's the play?
Well, I told little Kevin right there to shoot y'all both in the head twice, but seeing that he done walked away.
Oh, you funny.
Yeah. I guess I'm on your package.
Where the boy at, Michael?
Well, he ain't no regular, he's just working off a debt. Why? Why you care?
Never mind you why. Why ain't in your repertoire no more, nigga?
Yeah, J.D. Williams just, again, just so good in the scene.
Yeah.
When Snoop says, oh, you funny? He goes, yeah. Just like, yeah, I'm funny.
Yeah.
Which I just love that. And then So the guy in the car who says, "Don't mess with Marlo's money," said, and his name is O-Dog, and Bodhi just spits as a response. I know you don't like that, but I just love that. Like, you don't have to tell me this.
How
I
far
know.
can he spit to the side? It's amazing.
Excellent question.
But it's like gross. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. But otherwise, yeah, it's a great scene.
All right.
That's all I got.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, Prop Joe meets up with Marlo at his coops, and he is trying to convince him to join the co-op. God, it almost looks like I messed up on my. Nope, that's right. To join the co-op, and he's laying out the benefits. He's saying, "Look, you got the access to that good dope. You got no surprises because you have the inside intel." Marlo wants to know what he would have to, and I should say that he is in this whole time. Prop Joe is making this metaphor to what it's like to be part of a flock, right? Or caring for pigeons. And Marlo asks what would he have to give up, and he says muscle. They want his help to make war on these New York drug dealers that are moving into East Baltimore. Marlo says, "What do I care about East Baltimore?" And Prop Joe tries to explain that, we're all in this together. We're all protected. If we're all in it together, that's how you get the intel, but you got to provide the protection too for every part of the co-op. And Marlo says, nobody fucks with me now. So why?
Yeah.
He just thinks that he's untouchable, and before Prop Joe can even finish his explanation, he holds out his hand. Prop Joe looks at it, shakes hands, and that's the end of the meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like them birds of yours. They go out and they fly around the city. They free to do as they do. End of the day, they come back here, get water, get fed. 'Cause they know you got this place set up regular as the rain. No surprises. 'Cause at the end of the day, a man don't want no surprises. Birds neither. Same as what I'm offering. You part of a co-op, a whole lot of surprises you never worry about again. You just do as you do, knowing the product will always be there and be the finest quality. Knowing that if one of yours takes a pinch, he got a lawyer and a bondsman waiting for him before he even step out the wagon.
I know how to hire lawyers.
Ain't just about the lawyers. It's having the connections so that you know before the bus even go down.
What I gotta give up to get that good dope?
Muscle. You got muscle. You stand with us, we run these New York boys right out East Baltimore.
Fuck I care about East Baltimore.
The point of the co-op is we stand together. We share information, and no one fucks with any of us.
No one fucks with me now.
Well, that don't mean there couldn't be some unforeseen
No one fucks with me now.
Yeah. I just feel like it's really interesting because Joe is coming to him with all these reasons why this is in his best interest.
Yeah.
And, the biggest reason for Marlo, he either just doesn't see the issue, or the issues that Joe's laying out just don't really apply to him, or he's got his own solutions, and he just would rather, there's got to be some reason for him to, I guess, go join up with others that is more than these things. So just kind of interesting about that. So whereas like a flock of, as you said, working together, like he's just on his own, he feels like he can get all the resources he needs, and he doesn't have to worry about any of this stuff. Also, it was one of those interesting, I guess, parallels with Avon, because Avon had a rivalry with the East Side,
right?
And so Prop Joe saying, we have this issue on the East Side, and Marlo's like, that might as well be a different country. Why would I care about that? So I thought that was kind of interesting as well. So anyway, but the scene itself was, I just thought, like, really, again, like, these two guys are at the top of their game, I think, in terms of acting. And it turns out that there were apparently some more lines that they had between the two, but they just had to cut some stuff. And so I'd be interested to know what was on the cutting room floor for that. But they didn't really, the commentators didn't really go into it. So
I'm sure it's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't like this. Chris and Snoop are watching Michael at his home. They see him and his little brother coming out. They are ready to go in their little grade level polos. And, Snoop makes a comment about their poor house,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that they're going to school and this is their poor house. Oh, you know, why bother going to school? And also that, you know, like because he's poor, that getting him to work for them
Yeah.
would probably be
Oh,
effective.
yeah, absolutely.
But Parlo doesn't seem like quite as certain about that. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like this is one of the questions I have. Their interest in Michael feels kind of forced for the story. Like I don't feel like what they've seen of him is worthy enough for them to pursue him at this level when there's so many other, I'm sure, desperate, willing boys to partake in this, whatever it is that they need for these workers. It doesn't feel that way to you. It's just, to me, I'm just like, why Michael? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel set up as well to me. It doesn't feel like there's a very compelling reason at this point for them to go for Michael so hard.
That's an interesting question. I don't know, for whatever reason, I was thinking about Donut driving by and the symbolism of him driving by Hilltop while Chris and Snoop are talking to Bodhi. And I feel like, you know, I do feel like Michael stands out among the other boys.
I mean, they talk about him looking like big, physically a little bit bigger, right? Like pup with big paws. But I just, they don't see his interaction with the drug dealers, what that Bodhi sees. And so I just don't understand it. Like, other than the couple times that they see him doing that, it just doesn't make sense to me. But maybe.
Well, I mean,
I
think
bigger than the rest of the guys.
I mean, I don't think it's actually like physical. I don't think they're really thinking about it in terms of physical size, if that's what you mean.
Yeah,
I think it's
that's all I can see.
Well, so obviously you had the interaction with Marlo when they're handing out the money.
Oh, right.
And he says he doesn't want any. And when confronted by Marlo, he looks up and makes eye contact and kind of squares up to him a little bit.
I forgot
so
about
there's
that.
And okay, so there you go. So to me, that's like he's got these indications of being a good leader.
Okay.
You know, being strong-willed and things like that, and somebody that probably is reliable and has integrity or whatever. So.
Okay. That's a little bit more in that category. Still feels a little contrived, but okay.
Fair enough. I mean, you just have to wonder, like, and I guess, like, just not to hit the point you are, but here it is that, you know, you have all these kids on the, Marlo goes around handing out money and everybody takes it.
Yeah.
And because Marlo knows that these guys are, you know, if not destitute, like $200 is like a significant amount of cash for them.
So they're not going to steal. If he's not taking the 200, he's less likely to steal from him.
Oh no, I don't even think it's that. I think it's more like he doesn't want to be beholden to somebody.
Right.
And when you have that kind of integrity, not to say that the other kids lack integrity, but obviously it shows some kind of aspect of your character. And Marlo wanted to learn more about him, right? I mean, Marlo, that he said, I want to learn more about that kid. And now they're looking and they're watching and they're seeing, you know. So I guess Marlo kind of made the order, you know, hey, I want to learn more about this kid. So Chris and Snoop are off to do their investigation as they do. So whatever impression Michael made on Marlo, that's kind of the marching orders for now. So. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know how. I guess I can't really convince you further than that.
No,
so.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll take it.
All right.
All right. Let's see here. Later on, we have Marlo and Snoop boarding up the corpse of
Chris.
Sorry, what did I say?
You said Marlo.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
We have Partlow and Snoop
there you go.
boarding the corpse of the guard into an abandoned building. Again, they're closing up the door and Snoop starts flashing something around because like what is that? And it was the guard's security badge and she wanted to keep it as a souvenir and he tells her you can't do that and chucks it into the brush.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. And I was mentioning here, it's not really funny, but so Snoop's comment about nobody knows, I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know exactly who she wants to know.
Right.
So that was kind of, and then I was like, this is not a spoiler, but I will say that I was thinking that maybe the badge would come up later, but then I was like, well, they got fingerprints on the badge. It's like, but that actually doesn't mean anything, right? Because you could just be walking by and like, what's
pick it up and like,
so there you go. So
badge.
I thought that was like some kind of breadcrumb, but The Wire's way better than it. They're not getting stupid, but it was curious, like why she wanted people to know, especially for someone like this.
Yeah,
this is someone that has literally no threat to them at all. So
I guess they've just done so many of them that she wants something to show for it, I guess.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
All right, well, let's bring in Omar here and see just how untouchable Marlo is. Omar is at Butchie's bar, and we see that Prop Joe is there as well. And he walks over to Omar slowly with a drink in his hand. And he first off makes sure that Omar knows that he had nothing to do with Stringer's plan to have him killed, and says that they were both played and that, he did not want to have that on his conscience, that he wanted to make sure a man like Omar understands that situation, kind of paying his respect a little bit to Omar in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, hey, I think I have a proposition for you to make amends, and tells him about the poker game that Marlo goes to, and that everyone has like $100,000 on them, at least, at this game. And Omar says, what's in it for you? So Prop Joe wants a quarter of the take. He says there's no strings attached. I'm a smart man. I would not make a stupid decision about this. I would not share this with you if I thought it was not legit. And so Omar says, okay, well, I'll go check it out and we'll see what this is all about. But if anything goes bad, I'm going to hold it against you.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole time, Prop Joe has like a super straight face, almost solemn looking as he goes through this.
Yep.
Yeah.
What up, Butch?
How do we begin?
You gonna call on me? Why don't we begin by you respecting my time and getting to it?
First of all, I heard you may be under the impression I was somehow involved with the late Mr. Bell and his play against you with Brother Mousson. I was no way involved. Stringer came at me to set up the parlay with you. He used me like he used y'all. I feel the need to say.
It's said then. Tip out on it.
Businessman such as myself does not believe in bad blood with a man such as yourself. Disturbs the sleep.
Oh, I bet it do.
By way of amends, a proposition. I know of a card game on the west side. High rollers, lots of cash money, boxcar size.
You trying to set me up, Joe?
You ever known me to be stupid? I'm trying to make things right here with you.
How much we talking about?
There ain't at least a few $100K in that room. I wish myself blind.
Serious, Joe.
I say again, have you ever known me to be a stupid man?
What are the strings?
No strings.
What's your cut then?
Quarter of the tape.
I scoped this, and it don't look right. I'm gonna come back on you now, Joe.
Yeah, and of course, Dave Otevis will know that Prop Joe came up with the whole scheme to begin with of Stringer, Omar, sicking Omar on brother.
Right,
so that's kind of, but of course, like that kind of just shows what a good salesman Prop Joe is.
Oh, yes.
So, and I also think that, not a life lesson or anything, but when Omar was essentially like needling him, or not needling, I guess, in the sense of, kind of trying to get his goat as much as like just trying to test Joe's sincerity, Prop Joe just doesn't even, he's like completely almost like humble, and it's like, I'm not a stupid man. Right. I would never do this to mess around with you. Man, And then I don't know why, but like if there's, his comment, I'd wish myself blind, I thought was like a pretty
that is kind of an interesting
thing
to say.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because Butchie's in there or whatever, but gets a laugh out of both of them, and of course I feel like that closes the deal for them. So and again, like his just solemn nod at the end, I'm going to come back on you, and he's like, I'm not scared. I know this is a good setup. So anyway. But yeah, it's another good scene.
Yes, and we go on to the poker game there, and it looks like Marlo is about to win a really big hand. He's pulling all the chips towards himself, and just then Omar bursts in with guns in hand, and Roberto is there as well. Ronaldo is there as well. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
He takes Marlo's recently acquired ring as well. Does it with a gun under Marlo's chin. And all the money, they hand a bag over to the bartender, and the guy fills, I don't know if he's a bartender, whatever, the guy that's standing at the bar, and he fills it up with money. And Marlo tells Omar this is not the end of things between us. Omar says, well, you know, I can find your people pretty easy. You can't find me very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marlo says to Omar that he wishes that he wears the ring in health as he leaves.
Yep.
All right, everybody, let me see them hands, yo. Hands. Hey, yo, big man, back up. I don't know about cars, but I think these 4-5s be the full house. Hey, yo, banker, cash me out, yo. Boy, you want to hit on that body, you best hop too.
That's my money.
Man, money ain't got no owners. Only spenders. I tell you something else. I like that ring, too. Boy, you got me confused when a man repeats himself.
This ain't over.
Well, that's how you carrying the shorty. Huh? Because, I can find your peoples a whole lot easier than they can find me.
Wear it in health.
No doubt.
Yeah, I don't know if you're leaving all the good lines for me, but I appreciate it if not. But so I'm kind of incredible. It's just the lines that he leaves. He says in here, Omar, are just so great. It's like these 4-5s beat a full house.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on,
good.
That's incredible stuff right there.
Yep.
And you want to head on that body, you best hop 2.
Yes, that was a good one.
Again, just so good. Money. So that's my money. Money ain't got no owners, only spenders.
Only spenders.
So
that was good.
Just such a great line.
I should have recalled some more of those. Sorry about that.
I've seen it 100,000 times. So of course, I can recite it by memory. And then finally, you got me confused with the man who repeats himself.
Yeah.
Is another just terrific line. And yeah, and then. But of course, that's how you carry. I'm not sorry. I shouldn't be reciting this whole thing. I'm doing a disservice to Michael K. Williams. But nevertheless, the comment that I think calling Marlo Shorty, I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Because Marlo probably has 5 years on. Omar probably has, and so to call him Shorty is what you call a younger person, right? I mean, really like a kid, really.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then,
well, a lot of times it's used as like an affection, like for a girlfriend. Or
also
something
that, yeah,
too.
exactly, yeah. So there's that too.
Seems a little. Ooh.
Yeah, and no, you're right about that. But then, of course, like Marlo's comment of like wear it in health, I appreciate that as well. So it's just what a great scene.
Yep.
And so now you get to see the play that Prop Joe put together. So
yeah.
So anyway, I just love that scene. It's really a wonderful bit of acting. And I think that one other thing that is worth noting is that the way Jamie Hector plays Marlo is he's so still almost all the time.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you just barely see anything register with him one way or the other.
Right.
And here he is getting robbed. And again, you would never know. It's just a walk in the park for him.
Yep.
He's
totally calm.
It's really fascinating to watch him. And of course, I don't know if that was Jamie Hector's plan or if that was David Simon and Ed Burns giving direction or whatever. But it's amazing to watch it. And you go back and kind of watch all the interactions before here, and then of course you see this, and it's just, it's really quite something. So I just love the way he plays it. He's so great.
Yeah, no, he's really good. He's just secure.
Yeah, exactly.
And calm the entire time.
Yep.
Moves even kind of slowly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go to the major case unit. Actually, let's go to the unit killer.
Okay.
Sorry. The unit killer, because it's not going to be a unit much longer. Well, I guess it is because more people come, as we will see. We start out with a pretty sad and resigned looking Sidner and Massey. Massey's kind of sitting there, looks like she's taking notes. And Sidner comes over, turns off the wiretap. And who is looking on? It is Marimo with his very smug looking face. Man. And they'd worked so hard to get that wire in place. It's how they took down the Stanfield organization, but now it's gone. And so they grab their gear, their bags, and they head out, I guess, to do some street level work. Some rips. Later on, we have Herc and Dozerman. I was kind of surprised to see Dozerman come to the unit. They have just been assigned there. And, Herc's kind of like, where's everybody? Marimo comes in. He, asks, or he is like saying what their names are. And he looks at Herc's CV and says he was promoted after driving the mayor around for 3 months. He says, well, yeah, hell of a driver. And Herc is asking about Freeman and Greggs, finds out they've been reassigned, and then Marimo tells him that Massey and Sidner are doing rips, and that's all that we do here, rips. And, do you have a problem with that? And Herc says, well, just like the Western. No, it's good. I'm fine. And Marimo walks off, and did Herc do like a jerk off sort of motion or something? He looks over at Dozerman with this you can tell he's like, this guy's full of hot air.
That part was clear. I'm not sure. I didn't know
if
that
there was like a little side hand motion that was kind of like, this guy can. Anyway, maybe not. Sorry.
No, it's
maybe
okay.
I was just imagining that because that's what I felt like it deserved.
Fair enough. Certainly would be in character with Herc.
Yes,
for sure. I also just want to back up a little bit. Were you when they were listening to the phone calls? At the very end, were you able to pick up what they were saying? I could not. Okay,
I did not.
Okay, I listened again. I could. There was no captions or anything, so I could not tell what was happening.
No, it didn't. It didn't come through on captions.
Okay, because I was wondering if there was they were listening and they were hearing good stuff, but because they no longer could listen. And that they were disappointed, but but you're right. They were just disappointed because they did all this work.
Right.
So, and then I think they said Herc was talking to Carver and Kima in the very first episode, and I think he was talking about ripping and running.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was kind of interesting. I felt like it was a bit of a callback too.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, and just Marimo, just that smug look of seeing people leave is he doesn't think about it at all about maybe it's me.
Yeah, exactly. No, couldn't be you.
Yeah. And that's just one of those other things where I cannot understand how Rawls and Landsman see this guy as and has this reputation for just getting rid of good talent.
I know.
And yet they keep him. I
have no idea. That makes no sense to me. But I guess there's a place for a person like that.
Possibly.
To just destroy things you don't want to keep anymore.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's sort of there's just one other connection is this is the thing where it seems like, Marimo won, but he's really just losing more slowly. So.
Yes. Okay, well, let's go to Sherrod's social promotion. Okay, Bubbles is not happy with Sherrod. They are walking to the school, and he's kind of coming down on him because Sherrod, they enrolled him, and he's been missing school. And he says, if you don't go to school, this is either you go to school or you're not going to be part of this business, right, that we have going on. And they meet up with Miss Donnelly, the assistant principal. They talk about Sherrod not coming to school. And I don't think until that moment Bubbles realized that Sherrod had not come at all. I don't think that he realized it was not at all.
Well, he thought that it was just Friday, or Sherrod said it was just Friday.
But it's clear it's been more than that. Okay. And Bubbles is apparently his uncle, right? Like this. Okay. And he says, I'm sorry. My nephew here has been helping me start up a business, but school is more important. He should definitely be in school. And Donnelly's like, Sherrod, come on, can you make this happen? Do you think you can attend? And, He agrees to do that. But Bubbles asks, could he be in the 4th or the 5th grade instead of 8th grade because he's missed so much school. He doesn't know what's going on in 8th grade. And Donnelly says, no, we can't do that. He's been socially promoted. Socially what? Yeah, socially promoted. There are no resources to help kids that are older and should be academically 4th or 5th grade. And that is unfair to the teachers who have to maintain order in the classroom to have somebody so much older than the other students.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that.
Yeah.
You killing my time coming up here. And if you ain't noticed, it's costing us money. I'm gonna trust you if you keep telling lies. Saying one thing and doing another.
I just missed Friday, that's all.
Look, think on it like this. School is work. They're the same thing right now. So you skipping out on school is like not showing up for work. And I done heard, made up, and tested every excuse invented. So unless you dead or dying, there ain't nothing you can use.
I told you I'ma go.
Yeah, okay. I know. For school or out the business, you are gonna go. Come on.
Falling behind now isn't the way to start out a school year, particularly after a 3-year hiatus. We haven't seen you since you enrolled. Is there a reason you haven't joined us?
Look, I know you're reaching out for Sherrod. I want to apologize for the boy because he's been working hard at helping me get a business going. He need to be here, though. Ain't no doubt about it.
It's up to him, isn't it?
That's what I've been trying to say. I mean, that's it right there.
What about it, young man?
I'm good.
Okay.
One thing, though, been bothering me, ma'am. If Sherrod already missed the last 3 years, should he maybe be back in 5th or 6th grade instead of up with his age? I mean, so he can follow the work.
Social promotion.
Excuse me?
We don't have the resources to repeat grade levels, and we feel to place the older children in the younger classes is unfair to teachers who are responsible for maintaining order. Your nephew has been socially promoted. He's an 8th grader headed to high school.
Yeah, so I have some questions for you, but I did want to also make a couple of comments first before that. So, first of all, Bubbles' line, I done heard, made up, tried, and tested every excuse ever invented, is one that rings in my ears.
Yes.
Because I just love it, and I think that if you are a parent, I feel like that is a great line to have in your pocket.
Yes.
Because so many times
So
kids
true.
will try to put one over on you
Yeah,
and be like,
like,
I've heard, I've
born
thought
yesterday.
everything. I've probably used every I've tried every excuse there is. I've gotten away with it. You're not going to get it past me.
Yep.
So I just love that. Because, I mean, that way it just takes all the air out of Sherrod. It's like, no,
yeah.
it's just not, dude, I know
and
what the deal
you
is. So,
try,
yeah,
but you
exactly.
can't.
Yeah, so you're going to say this next, and then, you
Yep.
know, and then Jim Trufoss, his wife is a teacher apparently, and he was saying that his wife has talked about, and this is leads me to my question about how you have to walk the line of caretaker, disciplinarian, you know, and kind of everything in between.
Right.
And so I was just curious about that, your experience with that as a teacher, and then also the notion of social promotion. Like, how did that land with you? And is that something that you know, the teaching profession is well aware of, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, that still does happen. I mean, I think parents can make a decision with the school to hold back a year, but more than that, it actually has a pretty negative effect on kids.
Is that right?
Because of the social aspect. And so the amount of learning that they do in that case is just not significant, right? So I've been lucky to always be in situations where we had first, when I was teaching in an independent school, not even an issue. But when I was teaching in public school, and we just had more supports. Kids who needed that were, you know, in learning resource programs, or more often I saw that the issue was kids who were English language learners.
Oh, I see.
Right. So they didn't speak English well enough to be able to follow what was going on in class. So typically those kids had more supports, you know, like they would go to a learning resource class where they'd have an aide that came around with them, but that was a pretty well-funded district.
Okay.
So I can imagine in a district like this, not well-funded at all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in terms of the different roles that you had to play,
Oh yeah.
you know, I guess how do you navigate that as a teacher?
I was acting like a mom to kids before I even had my own kids. I didn't even know what momming was. And I was like, oh, okay, got to be a nurturer or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do that. You do. Yeah, I mean, I remember I had one situation with a boy. Did I tell you about this already? Where he had a knife in a bag. It was a knife that was in a ski bag, like a utilitarian, like, you might have a knife, like a multi-tool thing in a ski bag.
Yeah.
And it was not removed, but what he did is he took it out on the bus and opened it and showed it to people and stuff and let other people handle it. So he got in trouble for that. And it was after school. We were waiting for his parents to come. We were going to have a meeting. I could tell he was just so racked with fear and scared and everything. And at that point I did have a little boy, and although this kid was older than my own son, and I just went over there and I just gave him a big hug and I said, "You're a good boy." And he broke down in tears. I think that's all he wanted to. He just wanted people to know, like, I made a stupid mistake, but I'm still a good boy. I'm still a good boy. Like, it's like a 12, 13-year-old that just needed somebody to reassure him that he was a good boy and that somebody else saw it. And I mean, that was just a moment where I was just like, yep, they're all just little kids. They all just need some kind of parental love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And, you probably want to be mad at him, or not mad, but you want to, like, be stern.
I did.
Right?
I just want to be like, dipshit. What were you thinking? Taking that out. Like, anybody could have been hurt. You're on a moving bus. Why did you have to do that?
Yeah.
But because he's middle school, he's dumb.
Yeah, I mean,
no frontal lobe. Like, God. So, yeah.
Oh, that's a great story. I mean, I feel like it really, you really saw him at that moment.
Yeah.
And that's really something.
He just needed that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, but there you go. Like, that kind of, if anybody needs any further understanding of what it means, like, it's easy to look at, like, what you're seeing on, in this particular episode, especially, right? Because Donnelly goes through a couple of different phases of educator.
Yep.
And, but there you go.
Yep.
Miss Ellie could have really put the wood to that kid if she wanted to.
Oh, man, Donnelly, some stuff she does later, I just love.
Okay. Good. Okay. Well, let's get to that. Okay.
Well, we're gonna let's finish up with Sherrod,
sure.
because later they are back at their domicile, as we like to call it, Bubbles' domicile, where Sherrod lives. Two mattresses on the floor. Bubbles is talking about what it was like when he was young, where he lived with the center of his world, and hearing the ice cream truck. And this whole time, Sherrod's brushing his teeth using like a jug of water and a cup. No sink, no plumbing. And then he takes out, I forgot to mention this. Oh, well, we'll see it. Sorry. It's a little bit out of order because we'll get to Prez later. Exactly, but Sherrod does have this algebra book. And I think, is it a French dictionary?
No, well,
it's an English
I think
dictionary?
It's just English.
Okay.
Yeah. Webster, Merriam-Webster.
Okay. I thought it was just a Merriam-Webster too, but somewhere I read that it was a French dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
And he is pretending to use them as one as a reference to help him with the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Bubbles like, oh, you just, you go to the one and you get the information you need for the other one. He's like, oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But Bubbles knows that does not make any sense. Why would you use a dictionary to help you do algebra? And so really he doesn't say anything, but it's clear that he realizes Sherrod can't read.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
He must not be at all literate.
I'm sure that's
he thinks that he can do that.
I remember when I was a kid. If you had a map of the world, the playground over at Baker and Moreland would be at the center of it. And as I got older, the playground just kept on getting bigger. Went beyond the neighborhood. Everything changes, One minute the ice cream truck will be the only thing you want to hear. Boo boo doo boo boo doo 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 boo 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 boo. Next thing, the top's calling out the hair will be the only thing you can hear. What's that? Workbook I need to use with this? So you read from the small one and answer questions in the big one?
Yeah. Ain't no thing.
Yeah, I see that.
See that?
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, you know, I don't know that there's anything that would dispel that perception. And I think the bigger part of it, and this is, I actually feel like this is really important. So you picked it up.
Yeah.
But just to I'll share the other side. So when I first watched this season, I was actually like, oh, so Sherrod's taking this seriously. I did not realize not only, you know, even the question about whether Sherrod can't read, the two books didn't make any sense at all.
They don't
like,
make sense to go together.
Right, exactly. So there was, and so when Bubbles says, yeah, I can see that you're, you know, or Sherrod says, ain't no thing, I was like, oh, Bubbles is like, okay, you know, he's going to be taking this seriously. And instead, it's an entirely different turn for Bubbles. He's like, this is just not going to work. Like, he's just not going to do the work. Now, I think there's a question that, and I actually can't remember how this kind of plays out, but I can't remember. But, you know, Bubbles, what the commentators to talk about is that, like, Sherrod, and, you know, we'll talk about when Sherrod's in class, and the class has nothing to offer. You said the same thing, right? Yeah. Like, the class has nothing to offer Sherrod because he's so far behind in terms of his learning. And so, like, what is the point of him being in the class to begin with? It's just never going to hold his attention. So there's that, and so Bubbles is like trying to get him back into school and has the right sentiment, but obviously he's being put into a position where he just can't possibly succeed, and so now he's just like faking it, I guess, for appearances' sake or whatever. So it's just really, you know, it's easy, I think, to miss that.
Yep.
I would say, like, it was easy for me to miss it. You're just like, oh yeah, it's, you know, even though of course, like, you pay attention, you're like, well, he wasn't even in class long enough to get in. You know, an assignment.
Exactly.
So that's a whole separate thing. So
yeah.
Anyway, so that was kind of just for me anyway, it was just really important to like hit that home, because if you did walk away thinking like Sherrod was, you know, doing something of value, he definitely wasn't. And Bubbles saw that. Bubbles understood it.
Yes, he knows.
You know, and so like the tested every excuse or tried to pull one over on Bubbles. You can't pull one over.
You can't pull one over on him.
Yep. So yeah, it's and then, you know, not that I need to really hit this again, but I'm going to say, like, when people talk about, you know, in the abstract, people on welfare or people who are homeless or experiencing homelessness, you know, like, this is the image, this is the life that they lead.
Right.
These people.
Right.
It's there's no luxury in it at all. This is not something you would ever want. So the notion that people are scamming the government or whatever, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
It is just like, these people are trying to survive, and they're trying to survive on whatever they can. So let's have some empathy for them and see if there's a way that we could do for them in some way that helps them get on their feet.
Yeah.
That's, you know,
amen.
Yeah. And Ashley Daniels says something, Marlo Daniels says something similar. We'll talk about that in a minute. So,
yes. So, a moment where I like Marlo Daniels.
There you go.
Okay, so I would like to move on to the truants at Tillman.
Okay.
I feel like I should call it Edward J. Tillman 8th Precinct, because this place is run like a police precinct. There are so many parallels to what happens with the police.
I like that.
It's pretty fascinating, really. Okay, so we've got Dookie, Randy, Nene, Michael. They're all at Dennis's gym, and they are talking about what had happened in the previous episode, the slicing of Shaquan by Letitia. And oh my gosh, some of the stuff Naaman says, like what is going to be cut. I mean, it's so vulgar.
Yeah.
And Dookie doesn't like it. He doesn't want him to say that kind of stuff anymore. Michael gets him to quit. Dookie says, you know, it's her parents that drove, Letitia's parents that drove her crazy. Her father killed 3 police. Her mama boiled cats. And they don't really believe that. But Randy steps in and says, well, she came from a group home, and that's enough to make you crazy. And actually I was like, what is a group home really? And I looked up youth group homes, especially in Baltimore. And it does say like youth who grow up in group homes have a much higher likelihood to have a psychological disorder. So that's kind of sad. Anyways, Dennis is waiting for Spider to show up for his lesson, but he's not showing up. And the boys want to know if they can go in the ring. And since Spider's not showing up, Dennis says, okay. But instead, it's Michael's going to be you and me. I'm gonna train you. And at that moment, the deacon arrives. Asks him, is your Sunday best? Because the deacon is dressed very nicely, and Dennis is wrapping up his fists. He said, it's a solemn, show you a solemn left and a sanctified right. And the deacon tells Dennis that he needs to go over to Tillman and ask after a custodian position. Something like a custodian position.
Yep.
Not much more detail about that, though. They'll explain it to you, he tells him. So there you go. Shall we move along?
Saying, man, the way she was all on Shaquan, like, laugh now, stanky bitch, laugh now, huh? How you like this? How you like I cut your titties off, huh? Get the fuck away from me. How you like I carve your pussy to your chin? Come on. What? Said leave and be, so leave and be. I'm just saying. Just saying. That's all you ever do. Just say. This shit was fucked up. So it was fucked up.
Her father killed like 3 police.
What?
No, it's true. Her father killed like 3 police and her mom boiled cats.
Nigga, please, man.
It's what I heard. She boiled cats and like serve them and shit.
Serve him to who? Boy, you cat-eating motherfuckers? Who want him some boy, you cats, huh?
I've heard that's how she lived.
Nigga, you been boiled.
Letitia live up in one of them group homes off Edmonds. In them places, you don't need to eat cat to make you crazy.
Just a couple little things that a good church man, I feel like, I don't know if this is a life lesson or not, but I do feel like a good church man is always in everybody's shit.
Oh,
and that's how they do. I do feel like done properly, I feel like a good church man or, you know, a religious person can be well, and people will go to you for
sure,
for help. People will go to you
sure.
for counsel, whatever. And if you are, you know, treated with the proper respect, you'll always be aware of what needs to be done and where the community needs help and things like that. So if you are involved in a religious institution, you know, treat it with respect and treat the people with respect, and people will turn to you for, I think, for counsel or for, you know, doing what needs doing.
Agreed.
So, you know, and Ellie is a perfect example of this as well. So just one other.
Perfect.
What's that?
I said, I don't know about perfect.
Let's call it good.
Okay.
It's a very. I'm just sorry. That's a reference. That's a reference to Seinfeld.
Okay.
It's like, you're very good. Let's say good.
Good.
So,
Just good.
Anyway, and then just one thing I didn't even notice really, but David Simon kind of crafted a lot of the conversations with the boys to be much more rapid in pace and wanted them to be much more like interrupting each other. Not exactly, obviously that wouldn't quite work in an actual TV show, but they were really like into you know, just trying to make sure that they're acting as close to being kind of real as possible. So that's one. And then I just think there's something really interesting. Not that this is a surprise, but Naaman is talking about Letitia and how she cut up Shaquan.
Yes.
And he's going after Dookie. And then Dennis says, okay, you guys can lace him up. And Michael is excited, and Naaman just completely shrinks in the face of it. He's like, oh, no, I don't want to. I don't actually want to get hit.
Down.
You know, and then, you know, and of course, like, you know, I think maybe this goes back to what you were saying before as well. Now, this isn't something that Marlo and his crew have seen, but Dennis says you're going to lace it up and you're going to fight me.
Yeah.
And Michael grins and he's like, okay, let's do it. Give me a bigger challenge. That's fine.
Right.
And like, if he had laced up against Naaman, he knows he would have whooped his ass.
Right.
So, you know, there's not really a challenge there. So anyway, so it's a great scene. And then just one Dakota on it is that when the deacon walks out, he raises his hat. And as he leaves, and that's a boss move.
It is
like,
a boss
as you
move.
leave, raise your hat as a little tip your cap to somebody. I just love that stuff. So,
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to Tillman, actually. We've got Prez standing at the side of the room. He kind of has this expression on his face like, how am I going to do this? And as he's sort of thinking about that, Donnelly comes in with Sherrod and introduces him, and he joins the class. And Prez tries to discuss the incident that happened with the class, but his attempts are disrupted.
Okay, listen up. I'd like to, everybody, I'd like to talk. Listen up! Now, we all know something unpleasant happened here Friday. And look, I know some of you are still trying to get your heads around.
Hey, my head got a big old gash.
And I'd like to discuss.
Yo, is it true that you police?
What?
Miss Carmen up in the office, say Mr. Presbo, he police.
Yo, you police, man?
You ever shoot somebody?
I think we should talk about.
He shot no one. Look at him. Yo,
You ever bust a man named Asante Grant?
Sometimes when something bad happens...
That's your dad?
Nah, I'm brother.
Why can't you tell us if you shot somebody or not?
What kind of gun you carry?
You knock up?
I used to be police. Now I'm a teacher. But being a police isn't just about carrying a gun. It's about working with the community.
The community? Y'all ain't been up in my community in a long time except to wail on people.
Yo, Mr. P, you ever been shot? I mean, like,
That's enough. Get up. Get up. Get back in your seat. Thank you. Very entertaining. Sit down. Get in your seat. Sit down. Sit down. Quanice, sit down. Sit down. Now.
Yo, Mr. P, you ever choke somebody dead like, head like
yo, you ever get video?
And oh gosh, I never even talked about when his wife.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna. That's okay. It's a short scene. That's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's a
Yeah,
short
because
scene.
earlier but that's where we get the
Yeah, that's right.
the epigraph.
Mhm,
So
that's
sorry
right.
about that. Yeah. Where I had that somewhere. I must have this out of order. But anyway, so yeah, he was thinking about it at home.
Yeah.
Not sure how he was going to phrase it. His wife comes over and
Yeah.
tries to get him to come out and have a walk, at least for an hour. And that's where you hear him say the epigraph, the no one wins. One side just loses more slowly.
Mhm.
Although by the end of the talk, she points out somebody's winning
Right.
on the TV.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. Apparently, I did not realize this, but apparently this was not the same actress from season 2 when they're at Valchek's anniversary dinner. You would never know because she did not have really a speaking
had
part.
we seen Valchek's daughter before?
Well, you had,
Okay, apparently, but it's not
only
the same
only in
actress.
passing. Yeah. So
Okay,
apparently,
okay.
And they the commentators were like, this might be the only time when they weren't able to carry somebody all the way through.
Okay,
And
okay.
then of course I mentioned I think a couple of episodes ago that Miss Anna was Bunk's paramour when he set his clothes on fire. So you did have that.
Right,
Now it could have
yes.
happened. That could happen, but Prez getting a second wife, not likely.
Not likely.
So
Not with all the shit that's going on with him lately.
yeah, exactly. And then, the thing about the NFL, in particular football, it's such a violent sport, and I love it, so I'm unapologetic about it. But man, this season has been crazy. Like the number of injuries that seem to be happening.
Really?
It's really kind of like big, like well-known players are missing games, possibly multiple games, and it's tragic. And I feel like this year it's a little bit more, it's more kind of random, and it's uncharacteristically high for these big name players to get injured. But the point is that like if you kept playing a game forever, like everybody would get injured. It's just and I feel like and then like we talked about. You cannot lose if you do not play. I think it's episode 3 in season 1. It's the same kind of thing. It's like there's so many games where just by playing the game you're going to lose.
Right.
Like there are no winners that come out clean on the other side, and I think that's kind of where this comes in.
Yeah.
So as long whatever game you're playing, it's pretty hard to come out successfully on the other side. So anyway, just that to me feels like that's where the epigraph kind of really hits home. It was reminding me of that. So. Yeah, and then I think so. I wanted to ask you about, is this something that you would ever had injured? Obviously, not with the violence that we saw, but is this something where you took your obviously you would take your work home and things that you would think about? Did you ever feel like you had to have a talk about something serious happening?
Yeah.
What was that? Or can you share an example?
9/11.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course,
I mean, I remember that morning, like coming to school and. Not everything had happened yet, but some of the things had happened and trying to talk to the kids. Death of a classmate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or a parent of a classmate having passed away, things like that. I actually had talked to, like, I was at a conference, it was like a social emotional learning conference. We were kind of talking about things, and, it was not long after the Boston Marathon bombing happened.
Right.
And talking to some of the teachers there and just like, how do you... what do you do the next day? Like, we had kids whose parents perished in the bombing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like so, it is. And we would have things too, where like when it was something big, we would just get the whole community together and just kind of have open talk. And the nice thing about where I worked was we did have a really good check-in system already in place. So we could use the foundation of that with something as simple as like, oh, you're nervous about going to your first dance. Let's talk about those feelings.
Yeah.
To something as serious as death.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oof,
So,
tough stuff.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got for the scene.
Oh, okay,
Thank you for no, that's it.
Okay,
Thank you for
so yeah,
sharing
because
that.
Prez does that, right? He's trying to talk to them, but it's just not working. They're not interested in listening to it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, he's trying to. The attempts to talk are disruptive, and I cannot recall, but somebody mentions that he's police, right?
Mm-hmm.
And instantly they want to know if he shot somebody. He says, policing's not about carrying a gun. It's about community. Some says, well, you guys never came to my community except to wail on people. Namond at one point pretends like he has gotten shot, and then other kids pretend to kick him while he's down. It gets crazy in there. Everybody's standing up, coming over. And that is the moment, of course, that Randy decides to leave. He's going to go sell candy again. But Sherrod, that's where he sees his moment too. When he sees Randy leaves, he gets out of there.
Yep.
And that's where later Prez sees him take a book from the ground outside the classroom window.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and sorry not to bring it keep going back to you. I hope you don't mind, but
No.
it is quite interesting, I think, to see the kids, react about Prez being a former police officer. They really were engaged in that.
They were,
and he's trying to talk to them.
No.
So I don't. So is that? I guess you must have seen that 100,000 times. Where it's just I don't. I've got this really serious
that
thing.
Part. You have to focus on this. Who cares about that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, and of course, have you ever shot anybody? It's like, well, one guy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing.
Oh
but
God,
man,
I know. Seriously,
how would you?
no.
That's just something where I got.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
locked in a
what's
vault.
the answer? Yes, he has.
Right, of course.
I know,
yeah.
and it was another police officer.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I would just want to get off that topic as fast
Absolutely,
as possible.
yeah.
If that was him.
And I think he actually does quite a good job of trying to move away from it. But it would be fascinating to see if he ever were confident enough to actually share that part of himself.
Right.
Because it's not like anyway.
Yep.
So we already we adjudicated that already. So
we did. Okay. Well, Randy goes to the cafeteria in the 6th graders' shirt, but he gets caught by a teacher, Miss Reese. There, she does not fall for his, I forgot my shirt. I only have this one.
Yeah.
And the hall pass that he might as well have written in crayon. She says, too, that, if you are a 6th grader, that would mean that time has stood still at this school. Like, I'm not that dumb. And so she takes him to the office. And when we're at the office, we see that Donnelly is interviewing Dennis for the custodian job. It's not to be a custodian. She wants him to kind of do the duties of a truant officer. There haven't been funds for truant officers for years, she says. So she keeps a couple of custodian jobs open in order to employ guys to go get kids that should be in school. Now, while this is happening, Randy is there, and Dennis sees Randy, and Dennis should know Randy from the gym. And this is God, Donnelly has some great interview skills. I mean, she's as good as Bunk. She sits down next to him and starts asking about what's going on, and acts like, oh, you're the one that's been doing the graffiti because you've had this free roaming of the hallways, and your fake hall pass. No, I haven't done it. And while this is going on, Dennis is kind of looking at Randy, does kind of a little motion with his hand, like, and she ends up convincing him to tell her who's responsible by threatening to phone his foster mother, Miss Anna. And when he does give in, you can see that Dennis looks like a little disappointed in him. That was my take, was that he was disappointed in him giving up a friend.
Andy Wagstaff. You aren't a 6th grader, are you?
Oh, hey, Miss Reese.
If you were a 6th grader, it would mean you and the rest of the knuckleheads would still be in my first period English class. And that would mean it was 2 years ago. And that would mean time stands still at Tillman Middle, and that would be a catastrophe.
I just forgot and wore my old shirt today.
Well, if this isn't your lunch, then where's your hall pass? Why not just write it in crayon? Come on.
Deacon says you're a good man.
Good enough to swing a mop, I guess.
Mop? More like a vacuum cleaner.
What?
I get a few fellows like you to help me out every September. You go out on the street, you find these kids, you drag them in.
Truant office.
System hasn't been funded for truant officers in 20 years. Oh, you think you are Montgomery County? I keep a couple of custodial positions unfilled every year just for this. Those kids, you haul them in, you cross them off the list. Each kid, one time, clear the list. Come October, you start on the list again. Job's yours if you want it, pays $12 an hour. Excuse me, hon. Sit.
Tillman, that's cool. Can I help you? Okay. Will do. You're welcome.
Why'd you leave class?
Got hungry. Couldn't concentrate.
Maybe, Randy, you had another reason for running the halls, Tagging walls, maybe?
You know I don't.
I don't know anything. I know it's the second week and I got walls covered with tags. Does that make you feel good walking past that?
I don't know.
Maybe you don't know because you're the one doing the marking.
I'm not.
Then who is? Miss Thompson.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you get me the number for Randy Wagstaff's foster mom?
What you want to call Miss Anna for?
Because you're skipping class, running the halls, maybe worse. She's got a right to know. Is this her work number?
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on. Wait.
Or do you think he's more upset with Donnelly's tactics?
That's where I'm wondering.
Yeah.
That's why I love it because it could go either way,
Yeah.
right? Is Dennis, does he expect Randy to not?
I know.
Right. Get out of it? Is he going to give up somebody?
Yeah.
Or
I think
is he?
The no snitch thing is real strong
Yeah.
in that community from what we've seen.
On the other hand, I also feel like, who's benefiting here, right? I mean, and so basically Dennis is just like, this is just pointless. Like, yeah, okay, you got Randy to give up the guy, but for
Why?
what? Like, what's the point? Why did you do this? Can there have been a different way? That's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really honestly don't know. Like, I feel like Dennis was looking at him and he's like, because even what's his gesture? He kind of does this not a shrug, but he's like, you're stuck in it, so you got to own it.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. It's
so
curious.
funny how
Yeah.
just a couple gestures can make you just like, oh, what was that about? What was going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I think in my heart of hearts, I think that Dennis is more siding with Randy and kind of the injustice of, what he's being asked to do because he was caught doing this other thing is not commensurate with the crime.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, you left class to go to a lunch and to sell candy.
Yeah.
Is that really justified in giving up somebody who's, doing tagging walls or whatever?
Right.
So anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fascinating. It's fascinating.
It
Hey,
is.
let us know what you think, please.
Yes.
Wired and rewired and whatever. Try
Wired
it.
and rewired at gmail.com.
Right. Or on Blue Sky or on on Reddit or whatever.
Okay, well, let me just continue with Dennis for a second
Sure.
here, and then I'll go to Colvin and Parenti. Dennis and this other guy, his name is Marvin,
Mhm.
I guess. They start rounding up kids for class, and this is again it feels like police. They're grabbing suspects and putting them in a van.
Right,
In any other situation, grabbing kids and putting them in a van, maybe not a good idea, but these guys are doing it. Round up the kids. They see a few kids that are just throwing bottles at a wall. And, he gets one kid and the kid's like, oh, no, you're looking for my brother. He's over here. And, I was there last week, so I'm good. I've got my September day taken care of. And Dennis is about to say, no, what are you talking about? Your one day, you need to go back to school. But Marvin tells him that it's not really about getting the kids to stay in school. It's to give the school the attendance numbers that it needs on these two special days in September and October. so that they can get the extra funding that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And actually, so I was just curious about how accurate
Okay.
all of this is. And I did find out, this is in 2023, Baltimore City Schools had the highest rate of chronic absenteeism in the state at 54% for 2023.
Oh my God.
Howard County, which we hear about, lowest numbers with 18%. That's
Wow.
still pretty high, actually.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was blown away. And they said, you know, when I kind of looked at some threads about it, that they do have truant officers now, but they don't ever send them out after anybody. So, you know, and I
Interesting.
can understand why. Like, there's, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to go get the parents in trouble, take the parents to the police,
Right?
Because their kids aren't in school. I mean, what? I don't know. Is that good for the kids too? Yeah, it's a problematic situation.
Yep.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. No, that's fascinating though. That
Yeah.
54%.
54% in 2023, man. Yeah, it was really bad, like right after COVID. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go to Bunny and Parenti, Dr. Parenti. They are meeting, I think maybe with the superintendent. I can't tell who this woman is. She works somehow at the district
Miss
office
Conway,
level.
yeah.
They want to start an in-school program to help prevent kids become repeat violent offenders. You know, Colvin convinced Parenti it needs to be middle school students. $200,000 grant, free money, and she is okay with it as long as they can make sure that this does not bring any bad publicity to the education board. This, I feel like this is like the parallel to Burrell. You know, no surprises,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
No surprises, no bad publicity. Otherwise, yeah, we'll take your money. Let's
Yep.
do it.
Yeah.
So later on, they meet with the principal at the school. They sign the agreements, safety waivers. You know, this indemnifies in case anything happens to you physically.
A pilot program.
For one of your middle schools, yes. A $200,000 grant is attached.
Free money.
We're just trying to help here, Mrs. Conway.
Help how? You say that your target group is repeat violent offenders. Are you in any way suggesting that the system's lost control of the school?
No, that's not what I'm suggesting
The
at all.
system's fine. The system's great. I mean, this isn't about the system. We're just gonna try to find a way to get to some of the troubled kids who won't be in the system too much longer.
Well, look, just make sure there's no fuss. I mean, nothing that gets anyone upset, you know? There's an election going on, and we don't want to put our schools in the middle of that mess.
No, indeed.
After the meeting, Colvin is walking along with Miss Grace, who we remember. And he says, you know, what did the teachers think about us being here? And the teachers are like, you're just the latest scheme from the mayor. You know, this is what they see. And she describes this cycle that she sees the kids kind of go through, with their best behavior being on Wednesday. You know, Monday they have come back from potentially a really hard weekend with their families. By Friday, they're anticipating that again. So Wednesday is when they are at their best.
What's the line on that so far? In the teacher's lounge, I mean.
They're saying you're this year's Band-Aid. Is that how you feel?
I was hoping for more than that.
This year's Splint?
Hey, Miss Sampson. Yo, he police.
I mean, school system seems benign, and I get the sense North Avenue might give us some latitude, if not support.
You think so?
You sound doubtful.
You can tell the days by their faces. The best day is Wednesday. That's the farthest they get from home, from whatever's going on in the streets. You see smiles then. Monday is angry. Tuesdays, they're caught between Monday and Wednesday, so it could go either way. Thursdays, they're feeling that weekend coming. Friday is bad again. This is where I leave you.
Your class. Language arts, huh?
Yes. Anyway, you should see it without me. They behave differently when I'm around.
Colvin she leaves him. Colvin starts to observe some classes. He's starting to walk the hallways. We see him pass Prez's class, and he is pointing out how the children have failed miserably on their test. They don't.
That wasn't Prez.
Oh, that's not
No,
Prez.
no, no.
Oh, I thought that was.
In fact, I think it's one of the teachers that they talk about beforehand, before the school year begins. And they're talking about who
really?
you get. Yeah, I think so, but it's not Prez. It's not
okay.
Prez.
Well, it's somebody who was like telling them that they are all failures.
Yeah,
pretty
totally.
much.
Yeah.
And in another room, we see that the kids are now that's a class of older kids. It looks like, you know, 8th graders maybe. And then another one is slightly younger kids, and the kids are really engaged. There's like a competition going on. They're holding up these different little blue star and a red heart. He smiles at that. You know, there's some behavior in the hallway, kids rolling on chairs. And so he's just seeing this kind of variation in behavior and what's working, what seems not to be working.
Yep.
Just making observations.
Yep, well, that's how we do.
Yep.
If you don't mind, I'm going to jump in here real quick. So
yeah.
I did want to say that Colvin, in that meeting with Miss Conway, does a really excellent job of like calming her down, because she's like, "Are you saying that the schools?" And he's like, "No, school system's great." It's like, no, it's not. We know we know it's not. But he's also like, he's able to frame it differently and say like, "Okay, just calm down. Nobody's saying anything about the school system." But this is about and then he says like, this is about like trying to, there are going to be kids that are going to fall out of the system. So we're going to try to be a safety net for them. So, and I feel like that really landed.
Yes.
And of course, like as you mentioned, you know, Colvin sees that it's not just about the struggle that they're going to have with reaching the kids, but also with the bureaucracy, right? You have to like put the best face forward.
Yep.
So that's one. I thought that, he police. Just so hilarious. Like these kids, like they're so like
I know,
do
like
feel
right off the bat.
In that one, right, exactly. In that one line though, it is fascinating because like, you know, one of the things that you learn as a parent early on is, you ignore this at your peril. Your kids are really observant. They were watching all the time.
Sure.
You know, a lot of times, you know, if you are, what's the word? If you're loose with your language or whatever, or your behavior, they pick up on it, whether you, you know, no matter how much logic, how much you like, no, this is, you know, they will pick up on it. So, and I just love that line, because it's like, these kids have been taught how to, you know, identify a police officer. Right. And even though Colvin is no longer a police officer, it's like, that's what he is. So
right.
In his bones. So anyway, her explanation of the kids and their experience is so brutal.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
And, you know, I just feel like this is something that everybody needs to understand.
Yeah.
Right? Because you talk about like Letitia, right? And, you know, for her, if you're in a group home, you know, like if that's your experience and like whatever the, you know, the you know, the tension is there, like, and you've spent 2 days there with no breaks or anything, like, how would you not look at school as anything other than sanctuary, right? And then you see it coming, you're like, oh my God, these 2 days are, you know, and so it's just. Yeah, it's just heartbreaking, and I feel like you need to keep it in mind, like when we talk about the school systems and stuff. It's like, this is where some kids, like, you know, I mean, you think about like the rewarding experience for the kids in that one class. Yeah, you know, this is where they get that kind of positive reinforcement, and then of course you have the douchebag teacher who's just like, you know, here, how do you know, I'm gonna get you to change your behavior by making you feel as bad as possible.
Exactly.
Like, why do you do that? So
yep.
Anyway, and then just the last little bit was like, this is where I leave you. I feel like it's the same thing that Colvin did to Carcetti, where he's like, you got to take this journey on your own. Yeah. And so I just thought that was a funny little parallel. So, and then, then you talked about the in case you were anybody's injured. I just thought that was pretty funny too. So.
I know. Yeah. Colvin's look at that is pretty hilarious.
Yeah. I think that's all I got for that.
Okay. All right. Well, God, after school, Naaman is mentioning, you know, that he would shoot someone. Who would he shoot? It would be a snitch, the snitch that told on Rashad about the graffiti in the school. And how do they know it's a snitch? They know it's a snitch because Donnelly pulled him out of class. Yeah. And this whole time they're talking, Randy's quiet. Michael takes his younger brother home. Is his younger brother called Bug?
Yeah, Bug.
Okay, Bug. Mm-hmm. And they go in there and we see a woman and a man kind of watching TV. Well, the man looks like he's sort of passed out. Mm-hmm. It's a Papa John's pizza box on the table. It just looks like really run down and small. You hear her saying, you know, give me the remote. And then she tries to ask them, like, did you learn anything? And They don't really answer her. I don't think that they know maybe not to engage with mom very much, or maybe it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Instead, Michael gets his brother sitting down at a table in the kitchen and gets him started on his homework. Do your math because you're good at that. And gets him a juice and a snack, and then asks him if he's good. I love that they just kind of, the little brother doesn't even look, but just clasps hands with him over the shoulder. And Michael grabs his bag and heads to the gym.
Yep. Yeah. It's a difficult scene. I mean, and it just kind of goes. I don't know. I guess it's like, Bug. He's got this really strong relationship with Michael, obviously, and just that little bit of support from Michael, and he's on his way. He's doing his math homework, and he just knows that Michael will be there to help him, or to praise him when he is done with it and stuff like that. So and it's like, I like math, and just like, and he's like, yeah, you're good at it too. Those are like all just little things. Like when you're starving for positive reinforcement, those things can go like a mile.
I
so
know. Michael's so grown up.
Yeah, pretty much
grown up so fast.
Yeah, and we don't get to see it, but man, Donnelly.
Yeah.
Like, I just, okay, so you need to find out who this is.
I know.
Like, why not be a little bit more circumspect about how you figure out this is the guy? Like, watch him.
Yeah.
God, just walk in.
Exactly.
And,
just pull him right out of class.
Yeah.
She doesn't have time for that. She got too much stuff on her.
Come
Her
on.
plate. No, she
Do
can't.
something. I don't know. Anyway.
I do feel bad, though, for Randy.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So students are heading home. Prez is meeting with Donnelly and with 2 police officers. And they learn that Jaquan will be severely scarred. They see her facial muscles don't work right anymore.
Yeah.
And Letitia is going to go to juvie, which is not that much worse than the group home that she's already in. And Prez is surprised to hear that she was in a group home. Anyways, the silver lining on this whole thing is that Jaquan was not HIV positive.
Yeah.
And Prez, again, just like, I had not even considered that could be a situation.
And that's the silver lining.
And that's the silver lining.
Mm-hmm.
God, yeah, man. Oof.
Yep.
Terrible.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, not much. I mean, not much else
Okay.
to it. It's just like, it's a gut punch.
It is a gut punch. Yeah. All right, Dennis is overseeing a sparring match between Justin and Marcus. Justin and Marcus. And he's yelling a lot of things, especially at Marcus. He's watching. He's watching intently from the corner. And Michael comes up next to him and watch him. And he's kind of saying to Michael, like, can you believe blah, blah, blah. He puts his arm on Michael's or his hand on Michael's shoulder. And you see Michael step away.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to, this in prediction, Michael was sexually abused.
Okay.
We see other things later, and now it makes sense to me before why he did not want to be beholden to a man for money. But here we go. Okay, so Spider has not shown up still. And so Dennis says, I was going to take Spider. He's here. And Marcus, he can't go because he's got to take care of his mom or whatever. So Michael, you want to come? Michael says, okay, yeah. And so it's going to be Dennis, Justin, and Michael that go to the fight tonight. They are at the fight. Dennis is sitting between Michael and Justin, and Dennis is kind of talking to them both, but Michael will only talk to Justin. He talks across Dennis to Justin. He kind of tries to bring up conversation. Oh, he looks cut, and Dennis tries to say, yeah, that's what happens when you take care of your body, and Michael is just not want to have that kind of relationship with him or that kind of familiarity with him. Oh, his woman must be fine. And you can tell Dennis is like, why is he like not connecting with me?
Yeah.
And then you have the moment where Dennis drops Justin off at home. And then as soon as Michael realizes he's going to be in the van alone with Dennis, he hops right out, says, no, I'm fine, and goes around a corner and hides.
Yep.
So I think he's been sexually abused.
Okay.
Oh, breaks my heart.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's Michael's comments on the boxer.
Yes.
It is curious. It's curious why he keeps trying to change the subject, I suppose. So that is.
And he's only pointing out really masculine things about him too,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So
yep. Okay. Well, I've got that noted as a possible prediction. Okay. I guess I think that pretty much covers the kids then.
Okay,
So,
well, we shall get into some politics then.
let's do it.
All right, Royce widening the rift. We've got Royce and Parker discussing changing the campaign colors to red, black, and green, right? They want to, and it says underneath the poster, makes us proud with us underlined, right? So we've got like the Pan-African flag there in the background. Parker's really concerned that gray has 24% of the black vote already. So he wants to shake up Royce's campaign a little bit, do that with some black pride. Royce makes a joke, should I wear a dashiki like Marion Barry did? And Parker also says it would also help if you had more walking around money, like $75,000. And Royce says, well, why don't we get a card game going? So poker comes back again in this episode.
Yep.
Let me know if you want me to.
No, that's I was looking up some of the pictures of Marion Barry. I'm trying to think of
there's
when
a
this
couple
actually
pictures. I looked him up, and he does have like in the 60s. I think he's got like a couple times that he's wearing, I wouldn't even say dashiki, but like definitely more traditionally African clothing. But most of the pictures I saw of Marion Barry, he's wearing a suit.
Interesting.
To be honest.
So well, it's curious because for those who don't know, like Marion Barry was caught in essentially a drug scandal while he was mayor.
Of
and
DC,
then, but he ended up winning the next election. So I wonder if that was where it came into play.
Oh,
was
maybe,
that he basically just played to his base and was able to, by essentially going that route. I don't know though.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, we're at the poker game, and we see Krawczyk and another guy, Bowers is his name, and they are getting some food on their plates. They are complaining to each other about this because this is the second time in a month that Royce has called together this poker game, and really what they just have to lose and give him the money to fund the campaign. Yeah. And this has been a little bit too much. And what really is the icing on the cake is the fact that Royce is really gloaty about it. Right. Like he even, I can't remember what he says, like, he makes a comment about the game.
I'm beginning to see the appeal of
yes,
this game.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's pretty frustrating for the others.
Yeah.
But this is what he got to do. You got to have some walking around. What does he need $75,000 walking around money for? What do you do with that?
Well, my understanding is that the walk around money is also called street money, and it's actually given to like the ward captains and the people that are like in your volunteer, and they pay. They hand it out to people that are like driving, like they're paying for gas and things like that. So yeah, that's my impression of it anyway.
People that are doing campaign work on the ground.
Exactly. Yeah,
I see.
Yeah.
Knocking on doors and whatnot. Okay, well, Carcetti, in the meanwhile, he's talking to his team, Wilson, Dextino, and Gary?
Yeah, Jerry, I think.
Jerry.
Yeah.
Okay. Have we seen her before?
I don't think so.
Okay. They're talking about whether he should go to the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance. Jerry and D'Agostino say, don't go. This is, they are already going to vote for Royce. They're already going to endorse Royce. But Carcetti makes an argument. He says, this is, what's it going to say if I don't go to them? If I don't go and talk to them, I want them to hear what I have to say. I want them to know that I care, even if they have endorsed Royce. And what's more important than that endorsement is what they do or don't say from their pulpit.
Right.
I think it's actually Wilson that says that.
Yes.
And Wilson also adds, it doesn't hurt to see a begging ass white man on his knees. So it's for the folk. For the folks.
Yep.
So yeah, Jerry is kind of nods agreement on that. So Carcetti goes, and the meeting goes well. He tells him that he actually waits to be asked to sit down. He's super respectful.
Yeah.
Lets them know he's not there to ask for their endorsement, but he does say that he voted for Royce in the last 2 elections and he has seen nothing happen. And he says he wants to do something about it. He tells him, after this election happens, my door is always open, and, I am here to listen to your concerns and hopefully, earn your respect.
Yep.
And he thanks them. And then before he leaves, they thank him for coming. So it's good.
Thanks for seeing me. I understand you've already heard from Mayor Royce and from Councilman Gray, and I'd like to thank you for being able to join in this process. I don't expect to walk out of this room today with an endorsement from the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance. I don't. But the point is, I think I can be a better mayor for Baltimore than the present one. I voted for Clarence Royce 8 years ago. I voted for him 4 years after that. I felt there was promise in the man. But now I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed and I'm angry at the crime and the waste and the damage done to so many neighborhoods, not just in my district, but here on the west side, Pimlico, Cherry Hill, Edmondson Village. Wherever I go, people want the same things. They need the same things, but they're just not getting them. I'm going to change that. I'm not going to ask for your vote now. Maybe I haven't earned it yet. But I am here to say that when I am mayor, my door is open to you regardless of who you endorse. And I want you to remember that I came here today to say these things. Thank you.
Councilman, thank you for coming.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
it's done really well.
That's exactly. Yeah, just a master class. And
yeah.
I'm not trying to convince you.
Yep.
He kind of like lays it all out.
Yep.
But he does talk about, what this opportunity is. So anyway, and yeah, I even like, as you called out, like he waits to be invited to sit.
He does.
That is just one of those moments where you're like, this guy knows how to politic.
Yep. Mm-hmm. For sure. Okay, let me see here. What am I moving on to? Okay, so, all right. So the debate for city council or forum, something like that. Mm-hmm. We've got Unetta Perkins there, and she's talking about why she has not been at the council meetings. So, what council work is. I'm doing my thing, and it's not about the meetings. And Odell Watkins is there. He's got his protege, Marlo Daniels, debating Unetta. Somebody asks about a halfway house that is being built in his neighborhood. And Perkins jumps right in before he can even hardly finish the words, asking where he lives. Oh, I'm going to see about that. And the moderator is about to wrap it up. But Daniels says, she'd like to make a comment about that that they're important. These halfway houses have to go somewhere. My gosh, it sounds almost like our neighborhood, Chris. But Unetta Perkins jumps in. Oh, they don't have to go in white neighborhoods, though. And everybody agrees. Daniels tries to come back with a little bit more. These are our family members. These are our friends. We have to make sure that they get the kind of treatment and help that they need. Watkins, in the meantime, has picked up the campaign flyer and turns it over to see that on Royce's flyer, his candidates, his his slate includes Perkins, even though he had promised to support Daniels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So as you said in your prediction, Watkins is going to be disenchanted with Royce, and this is pretty much the next step in that path. So yeah. And then as you said, Daniel's message on recovery and how she's trying to step in there, and how it's kind of like our own situation, right? I mean, so not to get, there's always a discussion about, where do you put a halfway house? And there are always going to be people that are essentially what they call not in my backyard.
Yep.
Right. They might believe in the cause, but it's like, hey, put that in somebody, make that somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
And so Unetta Perkins does have a point in that you're not putting it everywhere.
Right.
Right. But you're putting it in a place where people aren't going to cause a huge fuss.
Exactly.
And
I mean, just look how many people came to this debate.
Right. Exactly. And so, but on the other hand, I know this is just me being completely cynical. It's like, now Unetta, you're going to get involved. Like the halfway house is already once you hear about it, it's already pretty much a done deal.
Right.
So no point in getting, now I'm going to step in. It's like you should have anticipated this, you should have known about this, well in advance. But of course, make a big show. Yeah, but of course, as Daniel said, people in halfway houses are trying to get better.
Yeah.
Why would you say you got to go somewhere else to do that? It's just a lack, not a lack of compassion, I guess. And like for some people, especially in a situation where those people likely live, which is likely a, low income, poor neighborhood, high crime area. It's like we are already having a hard enough time. So don't get me wrong. Like it's a case by case. So, but it is also like we do have to try to, find the heart to figure out what we can support, because these are people that, that have families and need support and just as everybody does. So anyway.
Yep.
Okay. But as you said, now Watkins is he's got the greatest scowling face there is.
Oh, he has a great scowling face, but this is going more to what I said, where he is super disenchanted with Royce. And now this is it.
Yep.
I think this is it.
Yep.
Okay. That's it though.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Well, this is a hell of an episode. God, we are we're almost 2 hours in already, which is, it's just and it's going to just get longer and longer. I think these episodes are so meaty.
Yes, they are. My gosh.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get too far along, I did want to mention something I had never realized before, but this is the 4th episode, and 4 episodes in, each hour has closed on one of the 4 boys.
Oh, no way.
Randy contemplating Lex's murder,
Michael.
Naaman playing video games in episode 2, Dookie with his fan in episode 3, and now Michael walking home.
Oh, crap. You are so right.
That's not me. It's Alan Sepinwall. But I was like, what an observation. Incredible. I also mentioned Clarence Mitchell, who was the subject of the class that was raising the stars up.
Yeah.
And why he was important to the Civil Rights Act. Or the Civil Rights Movement, I should say.
Cool,
lobbyist.
yeah.
He was a lobbyist for the NAACP, and he actually had a high position. I can't remember if he was executive director or something, but in any case, he directed the strategy that resulted in the fulfillment of the goals of the modern civil rights movement, including the passing of the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. So that guy has got some serious bona fides behind him.
Wow.
I'll also mention that the idiom "the worm has turned" originates from the proverb "tread a worm and it will turn," first recorded in John Haywood's 1546 collection. I don't know who John Haywood is, but sounds like a guy. This expression suggests that even the most defenseless creature will, when sufficiently provoked, attempt to defend itself.
Oh.
The phrase was popularized by William Shakespeare in his play Henry VI, Part 3, where it is used to illustrate the idea that even the smallest worm will turn if trodden on. And then finally, I just forgot to mention this, Bubbles is talking about his childhood.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things where you can it's just so easy to forget it. I had actually forgotten this line, but he was talking about how he hears the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
And he, and you hear that song and that's all you can hear. And then he says, suddenly all you can hear is the touts calling out the heroine. And it's just it's just, it's a line that, again, it really doesn't mean it, it's not substantive to the story. And yet I just, God.
Oh yeah. It definitely puts you in place.
Absolutely. And just, so if you ever again, and it connects back to Daniel's, Daniel's line is Bubbles was a kid at one point and he wanted to hear the ice cream truck. And then at some point, one thing turned to the next. And here he is, he's trying to help this kid. And and he's trying to do good, and but he has absolutely no support around him to help him out. So
yeah,
it's just one of those things.
God.
So anyway, those are my I forgot to mention.
Yes.
So let's try to get away from the depressing side. But man, this whole season is just
oh my God, it's so hard.
All right, so a couple of our categories. So the music, "Smoke My Peace Pipe" by the Wild Magnolias was playing when Marlo loses big in the first poker game.
Okay.
So I don't know what that's really about. "Ride-In" by Chameleonaire and "Crazy Bone" was when Marlo and Chris are talking to old-face Andre, and Andre tries to convince Marlo about the whole Omar business. So I guess it's a rim shop, so I suppose that's it.
Okay.
And then "Jumping Like Rope" from Damien Champ as when Donut drives by in the new stolen car. Okay. I'm not getting a lot of symbolism here, but "Pumpkin" by DJ Technics is when after Chris and Snoop leave and O-Dog gives little Kevin the package. That's the music that's playing in the car. This Old Heart of Mine, this one makes a little more sense by the Isley Brothers. Thank you. As when Bunk and Lester are at the bar. "Nobody Knows When You're Down and Out" by Deacon John's Jump Blues featuring Devell Crawford. Okay, "Nobody Knows When You're Down and Out," and that's Omar and Prop Joe at Butchie's bar. Again, not a lot of symbolism here. And then "Sissy Strut" by the Meters is during the card game when Omar robs Marlo. So again, not a lot of symbolism to these.
Maybe we need to know the lyrics.
I suppose, yeah. So, okay, well, that gets us to our killer cameos. So, Anybody that jumps out to you?
The security guard.
That is going to be my winner.
Okay.
Because I mean,
yeah.
I know exactly what his face looks like.
I know.
And just and then and he again he like gives a really good performance against an actor that basically barely talks.
Right, exactly.
It's really good, yeah.
Yes.
I did want to mention that Unetta Perkins, this is the only time we hear her speak.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
So there's that.
Actually love her voice.
Yeah. And exactly. Where you living at, sir? Yeah, her delivery and some of the stuff. Yeah. And then David Fontenot is the poker winner.
Okay,
so, I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't. He had this hum fucking SVU. I think was he just mocking the idea of having? Okay, so I didn't quite follow that, but okay.
UV ray.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, but so those are the three. Although because I'm not sure if Miss Reese comes back, but I thought she was great as well.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
But anyway, but the security guard for sure,
Yeah.
just well known and
Yeah.
I mean okay. Well, that gets us to our Mr. Nugget's life lessons. Do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well then, I have 5.
Go. Wow.
So,
5.
Yeah,
Holy smokes.
and a lot of these are, I feel like are actually there's a lot of good ones in this one.
Okay,
So
all right.
the first one is the least interesting, but it's also I think a good career. It's a good career lesson, which is when Landsman hears from Forrester about giving the Braddock case to Greggs, he says, "Am I hearing this correct?" And then he repeats it back.
Yeah.
This is a really important tool to have in your tool chest.
That is
if
true.
you are told to do something by a superior, repeat it back if you don't understand what
Right.
you're being asked to do.
So what you want me to do
exactly.
is...
Yes. And, if
for
possible, get it in writing. Now, it won't necessarily save you, but it is always good to have in your bag because then you just make sure, am I extra sure that this is what is being asked of me? So he does that. So that's always a good one. And then, I'll start with the least appealing one because Marimo sucks. And
Terrible.
He has people, basically everybody leaves his unit. And he is like, it's like have you ever seen the Principal Skinner? Is it possible I'm out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong. Have you ever seen that?
No.
That meme? But that's the idea is that no, I'm still correct. It's
Right.
everybody else.
Everybody
is wrong.
else.
And it's like, you've lost 4 people. Maybe now is the time to kind of take stock and figure out, is it me or is it them? And it just reminds me of this line my boss told me once. I probably mentioned on here. It's like, if you're at a bar or if you're at a party and one person says you're drunk, and maybe you should take it easy, and that you can ignore that. But if 10 people tell you you're drunk, it's probably time to lie down. And it's like that same thing. It's like if just one guy, if McNulty leaves, you're like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But then if 4 other people are leaving or looking to leave, like that might be a you problem. So
that is most likely.
So
a
if
you.
you see a few things, a pattern, and you are the consistent through line, probably time to figure out whether it's you or it's somebody else.
Look in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly. So always take time and taking time for self-reflection is always a good practice in general, irrespective of whether something is forcing you to do that or not. Okay. Next one. Talking about Randy. He tries an excuse that Miss Reese knows won't work. And again, I think it's connected to the I done heard, made up, and tested every excuse invented.
Yeah.
Like, I kept thinking, like, should I mention this now? But I'm going to anyway. There's another phrase I've heard, which is every generation thinks they're the one who invented sex. Meaning, like, they come upon this new thing to them, and they think that everything that they come up with is new, right? And the idea being that, like, Randy is here, and he's like, okay, I'm going to try this excuse. And Miss Reese has heard it. There's no way that the excuse you're coming up with is new to her. She has heard everything. And same with Bubbles, right? So if you are going to do something that is going to require an excuse, just own the decision. Like if Randy's just like, what are you doing here? No, I'm trying to sell candy. Like you caught me.
Right.
Just don't bother with an excuse. Don't bother coming up with a lie because you got to think of the next thing. You got to think a couple levels deep and all that. And here's my hall pass.
Yep.
And and she's like, this is clearly a fraudulent. And it's like, but he thought it would all hold up.
Yeah.
But if he had just come out and said, no, you got me. Let's go send me to detention.
He dug
but
himself a
instead,
grave.
Because he just tries to throw up an excuse.
Right.
Now
He persists.
she goes to
Why?
right, and now she takes him to Donnelly.
Yeah.
Donnelly again is now like, okay, and he's just keeping to try to fight these defenses, and with every lie, he's digging himself deeper and because I think now look, this is a complete straw man, but like if he had said, nope, this is what I was doing. I was trying to make a little extra money. Here's what I did, and she's like, oh, so like he's not the guy who's tagging walls.
Yeah.
But right, because why would he admit this? Like,
Right.
because it all holds together. But because he keeps denying it, she now thinks the worst of him.
Yep.
And so just own, look, if you fuck up, you fuck up.
Yeah.
Do your best to own things. I will say.
Tell my kids this.
Yeah, exactly.
Own
Exactly.
your fuck up.
Oh yeah, yeah, and exactly, and it's like my daughter the other day, I saw her doing something she shouldn't. It's not the worst thing in the world, but we have rules, and she was violating it. And I confront her about it when she gets home, and she's like, "Well, no, this is not what happened." And I was like, I saw you. I saw you with my own eyes. Like, and by lying, now I'm like, I can't trust you.
Yeah, instead just be like, yeah, I was doing that.
Exactly.
I shouldn't have been doing
just
that.
own it the first time and just take the punishment as it is. But now you're breaking the rules and a liar.
I know.
So there's that. And again, like I have done this in my life. I'm not proud of it, but I have made excuses for pretty much everything that you could, not any kind of serious crime, but like, like, why were you late? I've been late 100,000 times in my life, and I've made up lies for many times instead of just being like, sorry, I suck.
Yes.
I did not prioritize, because the answer is, and when you're late, is I did not prioritize getting here on time.
Yes.
That is always
That's really
the answer.
all it is.
And it's like, nobody cares about what the other excuses are. And if you get away with it, then maybe you get lucky. But instead, anyway. And I mean, I'm late to record pretty much every time, and it drives me crazy. Ellie never gives me a hard time about even Michigan.
I just get the studio ready, and if I see you come, then I come out here.
Exactly. So anyway, just own your decisions, and it might make you look worse, but being a liar always makes you look worse, irrespective of, and if being honest in a weird way. I still remember the one time when I was like, I did it with my parents, and I still remember my stepdad was like, well, this is the first time I think I've ever heard him own up to what he did.
Yeah.
And, I got to give him credit for that. And you're like, wait, what the hell? What is happening here? So anyway, so that's it. Okay. Sorry. That was a bit of a psychological therapy session for me. So sorry about that. Okay. Last one is, of course, you probably see this coming, but you want it to be one way, but it's the other way.
Yeah.
I feel like I've said this already, but this is one of those lines from The Wire that has stuck with me probably as much as any, because I just feel like people are they just have this perception that of not seeing the world as it truly is, right?
Yep.
Even like The Wire, like the institutions in The Wire itself, right? We talk about how the institutions themselves are the problem.
Right.
And it is easy to think, okay, I'm going to change things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that it shouldn't be tried. It's not that the effort is not worth it, but it is important to acknowledge like what the actual fix is.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you see like, I want it to be one, you want it to be one way, but it's the other way.
Yeah.
I just feel like sometimes you just have to acknowledge that like, okay, this is the way the world is right now, and just to be like, okay, and if the security guard had said, okay, Marlo, this guy is, well, maybe he knew who Marlo was. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just kind of knew like what type of person he was. He would have said, okay, this is not a fight worth having.
Yeah.
Right. Like the guy's disrespecting me and he's making me, he's emasculating me or whatever. It is not worth my time to fight this particular battle,
Yeah.
And I don't know that I would necessarily have thought that.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to kill me over the fact that I'm like, basically lecturing you. That feels like crazy. But, anyway. So but that thankfully most of us don't have those kinds of situations. But there are times when you're like, you have a boss.
Yeah.
Right. And the boss, and in fact, I know from personal experience, like I had a boss that it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. And I was like, but I refused to leave my job because I liked it. I liked the job that I had, even though my boss and I were just not getting along. Mm-hmm. Right. And I kept thinking, okay, he's going to quit before I am. And it's like, it was like a really bad career decision. Now, it ultimately, was, I'm not worse off, but there were other people that like accelerated through, up the chain faster than I did because they had a better relationship with him. Uh-huh. And I was just like, well, no, I'm going to do it my way. And he's ultimately going to see things my way. And it's like, no, this is it's the other way.
Yeah.
So you got to go find it. You got to go find a new job and just be willing to do that. And, anyway, and so I look at that and like, how many things do we see in our lives where you're like, boy, it'd be nice if things were the other way. And it's like, nope, this is it's this way, and this, I wish it was the other way, but it's not. That's not the way it goes. Yeah. So, anyway, just it's always worth figuring out like what battles you want to fight, what you do feel like is changeable, and sometimes there's probably a lot that we can't really affect one way or the other. So, don't spend the time worrying about it.
True.
So
true.
I don't know. I was hoping for, I don't know, for some reason I feel like I didn't land the plane very well with that one. But in any case,
that's a harder one to try to land.
I mean, but I guess there's not really like, I'm adding a bunch of stuff that doesn't really need to be said. It's just like, you want it to be one way, but it's the other way. It's like, there's not really much more that needs to be said. So here's 500 words on why that's valuable. So anyway, okay. So just in terms of the school stuff, did want to ask, like, you feel like it's still pretty accurate? You feel, or like it was accurate through your experience? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we touched on it a bit, but just the episode's still pretty valid.
I think so. Yeah. I really do.
Okay.
Yeah. Even the whole thing with just that new program coming through that the administration, I mean, I just can remember that. It'd be like we get a new principal or whatever, and like they come with their own thing they want to try, and all the teachers kind of groan like, okay, here's this next thing we got to try, and can I just like not bother with this and just go about my day teaching? And even that aspect is super accurate.
Okay, well, good to know. Okay, well, so if you're ever thinking about becoming a teacher, just make sure you season 4 and you're comfortable with what you see.
I think season 4, like, this should be shown to like college students that are going through education programs, because it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's real.
Okay. Well, good to know. All right. Well, with that, let us get to the most exciting part. Let us get to your predictions. Now, we already have Michael was sexually abused as a prediction.
That's, I think,
Okay.
I do. I think, Odell, Watkins can't handle it anymore. He's breaking from Royce. It's for real this time. It is the next episode. It's gotta be.
Okay.
It's gotta be. He goes to Carcetti and
the next episode is called Alliances, so I'm getting.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'll just leave it there.
He's going with Carcetti and he's taking Marlo with him.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I think there, and that's going to be great, because this is the thing. People need permission to vote for Carcetti.
Okay.
Black people need permission to vote for Carcetti.
Are you hoping Carcetti wins?
I am now.
Okay.
Yeah, I really am now.
Okay.
That came around. I mean, I didn't care for his indiscretion with another woman, but I've come around on him. Okay. I think Kima, we're going to see her really flounder with the case. Okay. With the, what is it?
The Braddock case?
Braddock case. Mm-hmm. In this next episode. She's not going to know what to do. She's going to have a really tough time with it. I think she'll come around on it, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now.
Okay.
I think Marlo's going to begin looking for Omar.
Okay.
To put a hit out on Omar.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. Is there anything else? I think Partlow and Snoop get a hold of Michael and try to convince him to work for them.
Okay. Let's see. Do you anything? Let's see. Bunk and Freeman.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me see here with the case, the Lex situation. I don't know, because they have to find Lex's body now if he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. So I guess they're going to start looking for his body to see if there's any bodies that have turned up that could be Lex. But no, then he's going to be boarded up in a house. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to find him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not going to find Lex. They're going to start looking for him because they know he's dead now. But they're not going to be able to find him because he's boarded up. At some point, they're going to figure out these bodies are boarded up in houses. But I don't think it's yet.
Okay.
Not the next episode. We got to go a little longer.
Okay.
Let me see here.
What else is it? Prez? Anything with Prez and the kid?
Prez. Prez, this time he's coming up with a new strategy.
Okay.
All right. He's going to have some kind of new strategy, and he's going to make a little headway with a handful of kids.
Okay.
A couple of kids are going to be like, okay, he's all right.
Okay.
I don't know if our boys are going to think that, if it's our 4 boys or other kids, but I think he's going to start making some headway there.
Okay.
Dennis, I don't know if we have anything new with Dennis, really. I'm worried about where the heck is Spider?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen Spider. That's concerning to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going on with that.
Okay. And then Colvin, I think is probably the last one. Because you are at, let's see, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You are at 8 already.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Wow.
So so Colvin, the program will start.
Yeah,
so
the program starts. I just don't know what that's going to entail. I don't know if they're going to start interviewing students. I guess they're going to, they're probably going to start reviewing their notes and coming up with some kind of a strategy for what they're going to do. But it's really not clear to me what, you would think that with this grant, they already have some idea of what they're going to be doing to approach this, but we haven't heard anything about that yet. So.
Right.
But I guess they're going to, now they probably are finished with their observation at this point of implementing something, some kind of a program. I just don't know what that would be.
Okay. Well, yeah. So
small group discussions, that'll go over well. No, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Small. Okay. But I'll put that in. Okay. Well, that is, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's just holy crap. There are so many threads.
There's so many threads. Well, I didn't even talk about Marimo and
right.
Sidner. I don't have anything on that. I don't know yet because now we've got Herc, Sidner, Massey, and Dozerman at Major Crimes.
Yeah.
But I don't, or Major Case. Yeah. But I don't know.
What
could be happening with that? They're just doing rips and runs. So,
we've talked about this a few times, but the way that they just weave these things together. But my God, there's so. This is way more. I feel like way more threads than any previous season.
This is a lot of threads.
Yeah.
This is a lot of threads.
So I never appreciated the weaving book together before. So it'll be fascinating.
I know, because I haven't even talked about Sherrod. We haven't seen Daniels and Rhonda for a couple episodes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So there's so much stuff.
Whew, okay.
So much stuff.
All right. And God, how did we put together a 2-hour and 15-minute episode?
Oh, good Lord, because there's just too much to discuss.
Okay, well, why don't we leave it there?
Okay.
You good there? Okay.
I'm good. Yeah, for sure. My brain is going to break soon.
Truly. Okay. All right, well, Ellie, as always, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We will be back next week to cover Season 4, Episode 5, Alliances.
Sweet.
Okay, we'll see you all then.
Okay, bye, everybody.
The Wired and Rewired podcast is Ellie Peterson and me, Chris Aronchek. Our theme song is Nice Vibes by Neon Beach. Want to holler at us? You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com or hit us on the burner at 240-488-0060 to leave us a voicemail. We're Wired and Rewired on all the socials. And of course, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other Wire fans discover the show. And until next time...
Put that down, will you? You live here now.